Chapter 3504. The seven-star saber saint was shocked. This power was very strong, which surprised him. He did not dare to be careless. He roared, "Open!" The fourth star lit up, and the power of the seven-star saber in his hand exploded again. The seven-star saber was a very terrifying weapon. Every time a star lit up, its power would increase. At this moment, the four stars lit up, and the power was much more terrifying than before. Sure enough, in an instant, his strength increased. He pushed Lin Xian's fingers away, and then chopped down forcefully. Lin Xian was slightly surprised, but he did not care. He slapped over. With a clang, it collided with the seven-star saber again. Countless sparks flew. Lin Xian did not move. The seven-star saint kept retreating. He broke through the void, and his hand moved again. "It's useless. Just use your ultimate move," Lin Xian said indifferently. "Otherwise, it's not enough." "Good boy. I'll let you see my ultimate move." The seven-star saber saint was furious. He realized that the other party was really strong, and he had to treat it with his full strength. The seven stars on the saber in his hand lit up. The seven-star saber saint was extremely strong at this moment. Seven-star slash of the Big Dipper. The saber slashed out like the seven stars of the Big Dipper. It said that the laws of heaven and earth were too terrifying. Among the saints in the second heaven, not many could block this saber. Lin Xian's expression became serious. This saber had piqued his interest. He stretched out his palm. The golden hand combined with the 5 elemental laws seemed to have turned into a giant dragon, grabbing forward. The palm was like a dragon's head, biting the seven-star saber. Then, his arm shook like a giant dragon swinging its tail. The violent power tore the seven-star slash of the Big Dipper apart. Buzz! Buzz! The seven-star saber saint was forced back. His face was filled with disbelief. At this moment, the 5 elemental laws rushed out from Lin Xian's body, forming 5 stars in a row. The terrifying power was like a sky curtain, enveloping the seven-star saint. The seven-star saber saint waved his saber like crazy, but he was suppressed. The whole process seemed slow, but the two of them attacked very quickly. In the blink of an eye, the outcome was decided. Everyone was stupefied. The seven stars blade saint was actually suppressed. This was simply unbelievable. The seven-star saber saint was an extremely terrifying existence. In alchemy gold, his reputation was very strong. At this moment, he actually couldn't beat a young junior. I lost. After struggling for dozens of times, the seven-star saber saint had no choice but to admit defeat. Lin Xian asked. He was thoroughly convinced. He was sincerely convinced. The seven-star saber saint was helpless. He simply could not break through the 5-star alignment. Lin Xian withdrew the 5-star alignment and stood with his hands behind his back. Fatty jumped out and laughed heartily. "Seven-star saber saint, thanks for letting me win." The seven-star saber saint's face turned ugly. He turned around and left. He was too ashamed to stay here. Fatty continued. "Who else wants to test my brother's skills? Go ahead, it's absolutely fair." Many saints around were silent. Even the seven-star sword saint had been defeated in an instant. It would have been difficult for them to succeed if they had stepped up. Since no one wanted to challenge him, Lin Xian changed back. Next, the other saints went up to spar. It was also very exciting. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. Fatty stood at the side and introduced each saint to Lin Xian. Among them, the experts from the Vermilion Bird Palace and the 8 Desolate Valley made a few moves, causing countless people to exclaim. The eldest young master and the third young master revealed a smug smile. These people were now following them. Among them, young Master Lei had been sitting there silently. His eyes were filled with endless arrogance. It was as if the sparring around him was not worthy of his attention. His expression finally caused the dissatisfaction of a saint. That saint stood out. "Young master, why are you so disdainful? Are you looking down on me? Come out and fight." "It's the sunset saint," many people exclaimed. When that saint walked out, he was surrounded by the image of the setting sun. It gave people a very desolate feeling. Everyone was sorrowful. It was as if they wanted to end their lives. What a terrifying Tao of heaven and earth. It could actually affect the mood of others. Lin Xian was also greatly surprised. The Tao of heaven and earth was not ordinary. Among them, many sages sneered. They were also very dissatisfied with young Master Lei. Young Master Lei's expression was as if he did not take them seriously. What was there to be arrogant about? However, the people from the Vermilion Bird Palace, Dragon Valley, and 8 Desolate Palace all shook their heads and sneered. These people dared to provoke young Master Lei. They were really courting death. Young Master Lei was drinking his spiritual wine as he cast aside the sunset saint and snorted. "Trash like you are not a match for me? What did you say?" The sunset saint was instantly enraged. No matter what, he was still a veteran saint. Moreover, he was a second heaven saint. No matter how strong the other party was, he was just a young man. At most, he was a second heaven saint. He had never lost to anyone of the same level. How dare the other party call him trash? The setting sun on his body became even more desolate. A wave of sadness surged from his body and swept towards the front. Instantly, the people in that direction could not help but cry. That desolate aura made them feel hopeless and even broke down. "Humph!" Young Master Lei snorted. Coldness appeared in his eyes. "How dare you attack me? You are courting death. Who is going to teach him a lesson for me?" Although he was furious, he had no intention of attacking. Instead, he said to the people beside him, "I'll go." At this moment, a figure beside him stood up. It was another young man. He had short hair and was carrying a huge bow on his back. The huge bow was ancient, and there were even cracks on some parts of it. It was obvious that the bow had been around for a long time. It was definitely passed down from the ancient times. After he came out, he stared at the sunset saint and sneered. "Old man, how dare you go against my young master? You are overestimating yourself. You will have to get past me first." As he spoke, he held the huge bow on his back. "Humph! How dare you look down on me? You want a servant to do it?" The sunset saint snorted. Endless sunset. He immediately attacked. Terrifying laws formed a sunset realm. A setting sun appeared and shrouded the surroundings. Everything there was in despair. The short-haired young man snorted. Terrifying Tao patterns appeared on his body, one after another, to resist the feeling of despair. At the same time, he pulled the huge bow in his hand. "Today, I will let you experience the power of the skyward bow." Virum. With a boom, the skyward bow vibrated and let out a loud sound. An arrow flew out and pierced through the world of despair, heading towards the setting sun. It collided with the setting sun, causing heaven and earth to tremble. The sunset saint's body shook. His expression changed and he spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was filled with horror. "Damn it! I will kill you!" The sunset saint roared. How dare a servant of the other party go against him? Merciless sunset. The setting sun rotated, and an even more terrifying aura of despair spread out. Chapter 3505. You're courting death. "Old man, I'll make you despair today." The short-haired young man laughed maniacally as he unleashed his power mercilessly. He pulled the skyward bow to its fullest. This time, the law on his body formed 3 arrows that flew out one after another. They pierced through the sunset sunbang. The law was broken. The sunset sun saint spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground in shock. How could this be? He was going crazy. The surrounding people sucked in a breath of cold air, especially the sages from Venus. Their faces were full of shock. Isn't he too strong? Is he just a follower of young Master Lei? Then how strong is young Master Lei? They didn't dare to imagine. The short-haired young man kept the skyward bow and sneered. Who else is not convinced? This scene was very similar to what happened to Lin Xian. It was a suppressive scene. No one dared to raise their heads. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. Interesting. This group of people is not ordinary. However, he didn't plan to make a move yet. Just then, a faint voice came from the sky. "Let me do it." A voice sounded between heaven and earth. Then, a figure walked in. This person looked very young. He was wearing a black cloak. He took a step forward and appeared in the middle of the field. Who is this person? The surrounding people discussed. Even the sunset sun saint was defeated. Obviously, the person who wanted to make a move had to be stronger than the sunset sun saint. However, The Sunset Sun Saint was very famous. Everyone knew those who were stronger than him. However, this newcomer looked unfamiliar. No one knew who he was. Thus, everyone began to discuss spiritedly. Lin Xian, on the other hand, gasped in surprise. He sat up straight and stared at the figure in the black cloak with a look of interest. The fatty beside him asked, "Brother, do you know this person?" Lin Xian shook his head. "I don't know him. However, this person's aura is not ordinary." The fatty looked at him seriously for a long time, but still couldn't figure out what was so special about him. "You?" The short-haired young man with the skyward bow looked at the man in the black cloak with disdain. However, the man in the black cloak didn't even look at him. Instead, he looked into the distance. "Lei Qianzhong, do it yourself. It's useless to send a piece of trash." Everyone was shocked. Was the other party talking to Mr. Lei this time? As expected, the eldest and third young master's eyelids twitched wildly. The short-haired youth was even more furious. "You actually dare to speak to my young master like this? Die for me." As he spoke, he once again shot out the skyward bow. The nomological laws on his body condensed, forming 3 bows and arrows that rushed over. It was this move that had defeated the Sunset Saint. At this moment, this killing move caused the surrounding people to exclaim in surprise. However, the black-cloaked man did not seem to care. He pulled out a dark green saber from the void. The long blade was broken in the middle, and the remaining parts had many cracks. This feeling was very similar to the skyward bow. The cloaked man held the black forging knife in front of him. Boom, boom. The 3 arrows slammed into the saber with a deafening sound. The violent laws of heaven and earth seemed to be able to devour everything. However, that broken saber was like a mountain, a wall that blocked all the laws. Then, the black-cloaked man waved his broken saber, and a dark green beam of light cut through the sky and earth, splitting apart the laws in front of him. Then, it slammed into the skyward bow. With a boom, the skyward bow was sent flying. The short-haired youth was also sent flying. There was a saber mark on his body that had almost cut him in half. "I'm in a good mood today. I don't want to kill anyone. Get lost. Lei Qianzhong, you really don't want to fight?" The same calm voice was heard. Everyone's expression changed. This person was too strong. He defeated the skyward bow with 1 slash. One had to know that the skyward bow had defeated the Sunset Saint. His strength was unimaginable. But now, he was easily defeated by someone. Who was this black-cloaked man? Was he a third heaven saint? They did not dare to imagine such a young third heaven saint. The fatty at the side sucked in a breath of cold air. Damn, this person was too strong. Suddenly, he remembered Lin Xian's words and turned to look at Lin Xian. Sure enough, Lin Xian's expression was grave as he stared at the figure. Lin Xian was shocked. This person was strong. He was the strongest young man he had seen so far. Who was this person? Did he come from the same place as young Master Lei? It seemed like they knew each other. The third young master and the first young master frowned even more, especially the first young master. Young Master Lei was an important guest he had invited. His status was unmatched. Now, someone dared to provoke him. His expression changed. He wanted to scold, but was stopped by Lei Qianzhong. Lei Qianzhong looked forward and said coldly, "I didn't expect you to follow me here. Did you come here for me?" The black-cloaked man laughed. "You think too highly of yourself. I'm here to pick geniuses for the sacred city." Lei Qianzhong's expression turned ugly when he heard this. Damn it, this person's goal was the same as his. The surrounding people were in an uproar. What kind of place was the sacred city? Also, this person was here to pick geniuses. Everyone here was from the top families, who would abandon their own sect and family to join another force. That was unbelievable. Since you're here, those guys should be here too, right? Damn it. Lei Qianzhong's expression turned ugly. He then said, "You're crazy. If you want to fight, go find someone else. I'm not interested." Was he not interested? Or did he not dare? The black-cloaked man sneered. "If you don't dare, just admit defeat. Don't use other excuses." You want to mow? Don't be too arrogant. Do you really think I don't dare to fight you? It's just that I have other things to do. I don't want to fight you." Lei Qianzhong said coldly. He had no intention of fighting from the beginning. The surrounding people were discussing. Why didn't he fight? Was he afraid? Not necessarily. Maybe there were other reasons. The crowd guessed. The first young master's expression turned ugly. Lin Xian's lips curled into a cold smile. Coward. What did you say? Lin Xian's voice wasn't loud, but it was heard by the other side. The first young master's face turned dark. Old Six, keep your people in check. The fatty's expression changed. He didn't expect his boss to hear his complaints. At the same time, he felt bitter. There were many people talking, but Lin Xian was targeting him. He couldn't do anything about it. He could only give Lin Xian a look. Lin Xian shook his head. What? Am I wrong? If he's not a coward, why wouldn't he fight? It's fine if he's not as strong as others, but he's looking for excuses. If that's not a coward, then what is? Lin Xian's words sent chills down everyone's spine. This young Master Lei's identity wasn't ordinary. Even the Grand Dukes of the Nine Netherbird clan had to treat him with respect. Such a person's identity must be terrifying. This young man dared to provoke him. Was he tired of living? Chapter 3506. Kid, you're courting death. What do you know? Who are you to talk about our young Master Lei's matters? The man with the skyward bow shouted coldly. Lin Xian shrugged his shoulders. Trash like you don't have the right to be arrogant in front of me. Didn't you get defeated in one hit too? Die. The short-haired young man roared crazily. He was defeated in one hit, but Lin Xian was only a level 1 martial artist. Lin Xian was just an ant in front of him. How dare someone like him provoke him? He gripped the skyward bow once again and formed an arrow. The arrow was imbued with terrifying murderous intent as it lashed out at Lin Xian. Buzz. A ray of light flashed in the sky, and everyone felt their scalps go numb. The short-haired young man had failed, but that didn't mean that he was weak. The man in the black cloak was just too strong. One should know that the short-haired young man had easily defeated the Sunset Saint. How strong was the Sunset Saint? Everyone knew that clearly. Hence, when they saw the short-haired young man attack again, everyone felt a chill in their hearts. They knew that the short-haired young man was dead meat. They wondered where the sixth young master found such a reckless person this time. That's right. Did he think that he could show off after defeating Longzi? The short-haired young man was definitely not someone he could fight against. The fatty's face changed. Brother, you're in big trouble this time. Run. However, Lin Xian didn't run away. He even showed a look of disdain. Fight with him? He reached out his hand and grabbed the arrow. At the same time, he executed the stellar transposition. The arrow flew back with an even more bizarre and terrifying force. Buzz. Boom. There was a flash of light, and an earth-shattering sound was heard. The great path of heaven and earth was moving. The short-haired young man screamed as a bloody hole appeared on his shoulder. What's going on? The surrounding people went crazy. The short-haired youth was actually injured. Moreover, he was injured by his own attack? How is that possible? What happened just now happened in an instant. Those people didn't even see what happened. Only the man in the black cloak looked surprised as he stared at Lin Xian. Interesting. His lips curled up into a smile. On the other side, the eldest young master's side was quiet. They could not believe that the short-haired youth had been injured by someone. Fatty's mouth was wide open. Holy **T. Am I dreaming? He knew that Lin Xian was very strong, but he didn't expect Lin Xian to be this strong. Damn it. How dare you hurt me? I'll kill you. The short-haired young man roared madly. At the back, young Master Lei's face was extremely cold. Lin Xian laughed. I already said that you're just an ant. You're not my match at all. Let your young master fight. If your young master doesn't mind your life or death, I can send you to the Yellow Springs. After speaking, Lin Xian no longer paid any attention to the other party. Instead, he looked directly at Lei Qianzhong. Lei Qianzhong's expression was extremely ugly. Since when did a first-layer saint dare to be so arrogant in front of him? One had to know that his identity was extremely unusual. Didn't the 9 Netherbird clan's young master, Vermilion Bird Palace, and 8 Direction Palace all want to follow him? A first-layer saint was no different from an ant in front of him. But now, an ant dared to challenge him. Looks like it's time for him to show his true strength. He waved his hand, stopping the short-haired young man and said, "Come back." As he spoke, he stood up. As he stood up, the short-haired young man was stunned. However, he soon revealed a cold smile. "Kid, let my young master fight. You're dead for sure." The surrounding people were also in an uproar. Is young Master Lei really going to fight? The eldest young master, Vermilion Bird Palace, and Eight Direction Palace's people were also shocked. Looks like young Master Lei is really angry. Very well, kid. You've successfully angered me. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Lei Qianzhong walked out and coldly stared at Lin Xian. Lin Xian also stood up and walked forward. His lips curled up into a cold smile. You really dare to come out and fight? What a surprise. Before, when an expert challenged you, you said that it wasn't convenient for you to fight and that you didn't want to. Why are you willing to fight now? That means it's not that it wasn't convenient for you to fight, but that you were afraid and didn't dare to fight. What's wrong with me calling you a coward? When these words came out, the crowd was in an uproar. The black-cloaked man's expression became very interesting. Interesting, very interesting. Lei Qianzhong's expression was extremely ugly. Damn it, the opponent actually set up a trap. The others discussed crazily. Indeed, before, Lei Qianzhong was unwilling to fight even if he was beaten to death. Now, he was actually going to fight. Doesn't this mean that Lei Qianzhong is afraid of the black-cloaked man? Even the eldest young master's people were shocked. Who is this black-cloaked man? Can he really make Lei Qianzhong afraid? What a sharp-tongued kid. I wonder if you'll still be so eloquent when you're tortured by me and suffer a fate worse than death. Lei Qianzhong's voice was filled with boundless killing intent. He was really angry. He must tear this despicable kid in front of him into pieces. He raised his hand and pointed his finger. A ray of lightning flew out like a real dragon, whistling in the sky. This time, the Tao of heaven and earth was too terrifying. It carried an aura that could destroy everything, causing everyone's hair to stand on end. Heavens, this young Master Lei is really strong. They thought he had an undeserved reputation, but now it seems like that wasn't the case. The surrounding saints were scared out of their wits. Because this casual attack was even more terrifying than the attack from the skyward bow. This young Master Lei is definitely not simple. Humph, you dare to slander my young master. Die obediently. At the back, the short-haired youth and the others sneered. They had full confidence in their young master. Lin Xian also revealed a look of astonishment. This time, it was much more powerful than when he had clashed with the other party on Nine Dragon Mountain. It seems like the opponent didn't use his full strength before. That's fine. I'll play with him. With a roar, a golden fist smashed out, carrying an unparalleled aura. Boom. The fist smashed into the finger light, emitting a brilliant light. The two Taos of heaven and earth clashed in the sky, tearing the 9 heavens apart and creating countless black holes. Then, they both dissipated. Lin Xian laughed heartily. Is this all you've got? It's only SOSO. It doesn't match your status at all. Could it be that your reputation is undeserved? Everyone was terrified. What's wrong with this person? This saint of the first heaven actually had such strength. Heavens, could it be that he was hiding his strength before? Chapter 3507. They were all going crazy. This was too unbelievable. Lei Qianzhong was also going crazy. How could his opponent block his attack? He was a genius and had no problem fighting above his level. Moreover, he didn't care about the people in this star field. But now, there was someone with a lower cultivation than him who could block his attack. In an instant, he remembered that there was someone who challenged him on Nine Dragon Mountain. That person was also a first-layer realmant. Now, there was another first-layer realmant. Damn it, how could there be so many heaven-defying geniuses? Or was there some relationship between the two of them? Lei Qianzhong's eyes flashed with lightning and runes. It was as if he wanted to see through Lin Fan. Lin Xian sneered. Don't look, you can't beat me. You only blocked one of my attacks. What's there to be arrogant about? Lei Qianzhong formed a seal with his fingers. Suddenly, the law of lightning spread out from his body and formed a pair of lightning wings. After opening, It was like a heavenly blade of lightning that cut through the sky and slashed towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian wasn't afraid and quickly attacked. The two exchanged dozens of blows, shaking the heavens and earth. They were evenly matched. Damn it! How could this be? They were evenly matched? Everyone went crazy, especially those on the eldest young master's side. They were very confident in Lei Qianzhong, but now, he couldn't even take down a first-layer realm saint. This made them wonder if he was really a genius. However, they only had doubts. No one dared to say anything because they could tell from the shockwaves in the Tao of heaven and earth. Lin Fan was indeed strong, ridiculously strong. It wasn't that Lei Qianzhong was weak, but that Lin Xian was too strange. They had never heard of a first-layer realm saint having such strength. Damn brat, you've really angered me. Die. Lei Qianzhong roared. Thunderfire Sky Slice. A terrifying Tao pulsed as the thunderfire turned into a blade of ice and fire that slashed towards Lin Fan. A murderous aura quickly spread out between heaven and earth. Wong. Lin Xian raised his hand and struck out with the 5-star alignment. It was like a Tao diagram that spun between heaven and earth. Thunderstorm. Lei Qianzhong's attack was once again thrown over, exploding once again. This time, the endless thunderbolts smashed apart. The energy of the ocean could tear everything apart. The second-layer realm saints trembled violently. Because they realized that under this power, they seemed to be unable to resist at all. Lin Xian was also surprised. What a violent power of lightning. His palms kept moving and one golden mountain after another flew out of his hands. The thunder saber in his hand turned into a thunder spear as he thrust it forward. Everyone tensed up. Even Meng Meng's heart raced. On the other side, the man in the black cape narrowed his eyes. He looked at the scene with a mysterious gaze. How was he going to block it? Lin Xian didn't dodge the attack. Instead, he let out a roar. His body suddenly burst out with an unparalleled light. It was so bright that no one could open their eyes. He let out a long roar that shook the 9 heavens and 10 earths. He reached out his hand and countless laws gathered to form a dragon diagram. Then, he slammed his hand down. He slammed his hand down on the thunderbolt spear. What? He wants to block it with his bare hands? Everyone felt like they were going crazy. No one below the 3rd-layer realm could block this spear. Humph, he is courting death. Lei Qianzhue sneered. He thought that Qin Fan would die after this attack. An earth-shattering collision sound rang out. Long Tu's large palm collided with the lightning spear, emitting world-destroying energy ripples. Then, something terrifying happened. Such a stunning spear didn't pierce through Qin Fan's palm. Instead, it cracked under the impact of the dragon diagram. Then, it shattered. How is that possible? What a violent power. Was he still human? Screams and screams filled the air. Everyone was going crazy. They couldn't believe it. The Elder Lord was dumbfounded. Meng Huan heaved a sigh of relief. The man in the black cape stared at Lin Xian as if he wanted to see through him. Lin Xian retracted his palm and sneered. Your strength is really not enough. I really don't know how you managed to fool the Elder Lord of the 9 Netherbird clan. Since I have seen through your true strength, you should get out of my sight. Everyone's scalp went numb, especially those who knew Lei Qianzhue's identity. Who is this person? How can he be so powerful? Many people even wondered if this person was the descendant of the legendary great emperor, Yin Nantian. That was because only the successor of a great emperor would be able to contend against such an exceptional genius with such a cultivation. However, the people of the Vermilion Bird Palace knew that it couldn't be Yin Nantian because Yin Nantian had been killed. Damn it, I am so angry. Lei Qianzhue was so angry that his body trembled. Suddenly, the man in the black cape spoke. Lei Qianzhue, you are so weak that I wanted to fight with you. But it seems like you can't even withstand a single attack from me. I really don't know how you got your status. Damn it, Yuan Ma, don't be so arrogant. And you, kid, do you really think this is my true strength? If I didn't seal my cultivation, I could have killed you with one attack. Let me tell you, my true cultivation is that of a 3rd heaven sage. What? A 3rd heaven sage? Everyone was going crazy. They had guessed that the man in the black cape was a 3rd heaven sage. However, they didn't have any proof. They didn't expect that Lei Qianjue was also a third heaven sage. Furthermore, the other party had said it himself, so it shouldn't be fake. No wonder Lei Qianjue was so noble. He was a third heaven sage. At such a young age, his cultivation was unparalleled. That's right, kid. Our young Lord Lei is a true third heaven sage. How dare you provoke him? Kneel down. Our young lord had only sealed his cultivation. Otherwise, do you think you could have defeated him? I don't think you can even withstand a single attack. Lei Qianjue's companion sneered. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. A third heaven sage? If that was the case, it would be too shocking. Chapter 3508. He had never seen a third heavenly layer cultivator at such a young age. Where did he come from? Even Yin Nantian didn't have such a terrifying cultivation speed. Of course, the other party was much older than him and Yin Nantian by a few hundred years, but he was still considered young. It seemed that what he said was true. No wonder the black-cloaked man wanted to fight him. It seemed that the black-cloaked man was also a third heavenly layer sage. Two third heavenly layer sages, both less than 1,000 years old. Where did this person come from? Lin Xian had never heard of such a prodigy before. Was it sealed? Fine, then I'll undo your seal. Let me see how powerful a third heavenly layer sage is. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. His blood and qi were boiling. So what if he was a third heavenly layer sage? He, Lin Xian, had never been afraid of anyone. His heart filled with pride. He decided to fight with all his might. On the other side, terrifying lightning runes appeared on Lei Qianzhong's body one after another. They were all formed by the great Tao. Especially on his forehead, it was even more terrifying. That was where the seal was. The lightning runes on it kept flashing and were about to loosen. At that moment, a beautiful figure floated over from afar. The moment she appeared, she said coldly, "Everyone, please stop. The Grand Ancestor's birthday is coming soon. I hope you won't make a big fuss." Everyone turned to look. Fatty exclaimed, "It's Sister Yanran." That's right, the person who came was Nine Nether Yanran. She was dressed in purple and looked like a high and mighty fairy. She stopped the two. Lin Xian didn't move. On the other side, Lei Qianzhong's eyes flashed and the lightning runes on his body disappeared. Fine, I'll give the fairy some face. He didn't make a move. Instead, he turned and stared at Lin Xian. Kid, you're in luck. I won't make a move for the sake of the living fossil's birthday. But just you wait. After the birthday, I'll personally make you wish you were dead. I'll wait. I'm afraid you don't have the ability. Lin Xian also snorted coldly. Yanran stood high up in the sky and looked at this scene. She turned her gaze and stared at Lin Xian. She was extremely surprised. Previously, she had only seen Lin Xian once. At that time, Fatty had said that Lin Xian was a genius, but she had seen many geniuses. Therefore, he did not take it to heart. However, he didn't expect this person to be so extraordinary that he could force Lei Qianzhong to release the seal. You knew how terrifying Lei Qianzhong was. Lei Qianzhong wasn't from their galaxy. He was a genius from the second astral boundary. The ancient starry sky path was very long, and the star field they were in was known as the first astral boundary. This was the original location of the ancient starry sky path. If they walked further in, they would arrive at the second astral realm. The forces of the second astral world were even more terrifying, and the geniuses were even more terrifying. For example, He Bifeng and Lei Qianzhong had reached the third firmament saint realm before they were 1,000 years old. It was truly terrifying. In addition to them, there were even more terrifying existences in the second astral realm. To be honest, if a genius from the second astral realm came to the first astral realm, he would be able to crush everything. Unless it was a great successor like Yin Nantian who had a super powerful divine ability, or a genius from the Nine Nether tribe who used a special sacred artifact, they would be able to contend against him. However, she didn't expect a first firmament saint to be able to fight Lei Qianzhong to such an extent. It was truly out of her expectations. It seemed that when she had the chance, she would have to properly ask him who he was. Kid, just you wait, you're dead. When Lei Qianzhong returned to his seat, the short-haired youth next to him threatened again. Lin Xian sneered. I'm dead? I think you don't know what's good for you. Even your master doesn't dare to talk to me like that. How dare a lowly servant like you be so arrogant in front of me? If it wasn't for the 9 Nether tribe, you would already be a dead man. You're courting death. The short-haired youth trembled with anger. Lin Xian sneered. What, you're not convinced and want to fight? Very well. Do you dare to leave the 9 Nether tribe with me? Let's go somewhere else to fight to the death. When these words came out, the crowd was in an uproar. Even the short-haired youth was stunned. He didn't think that Lin Xian would dare to say such words. For a moment, he didn't know how to respond. To be honest, he really couldn't beat Lin Xian. After all, Lin Xian was able to fight Lei Qianzhong to a standstill. Although Lei Qianzhong had sealed his cultivation, he wasn't someone he could compare to. Seeing his hesitation, Lin Xian snorted coldly. What? You don't dare. Since you don't dare, then obediently scram and shut up. Even your master doesn't dare to be arrogant in front of me. Kid, I'll say it again. I, young Master Jialei, have sealed my cultivation. Otherwise, a 3rd firmament saint could kill you easily. The short-haired youth retorted with a red face. When Lin Xian heard this, he laughed. How impressive, how powerful. You also know that your master is a 3rd firmament saint. Then let me ask you, a 3rd firmament saint can easily kill a 1st firmament saint. What's there to be proud of? When these words came out, everyone fell silent. Indeed, the difference in strength between a 1st firmament saint and a 3rd firmament saint was too great. If a 3rd firmament saint wanted to fight, there was nothing to be proud of. Lin Xian continued. Since there's nothing to be proud of, why do you keep talking about it? Could it be that you only have this much strength? Or do you think that a 3rd firmament saint killing a 1st firmament saint and succeeding is something to be proud of? Damn it, what are you trying to say? Lei Qianzhong's face also turned cold. Lin Xian sneered. What am I trying to say? I want to say, don't you call yourself a genius? Don't geniuses fight above their level? You're a 3rd firmament saint. Why don't you kill 4th firmament and 5th firmament saints? Instead, you fight a 1st firmament saint? Where's your face? Also, even if you sealed your cultivation, so what? You're a 2nd firmament saint, right? What about me? I'm a 1st firmament saint. There's still a gap of 1 firmament between us. But you can't even beat me. I really don't know what you have to be proud of. If I were a 2nd firmament saint, I'd kill you in seconds. Someone like you can't even beat someone of a lower level, let alone fight above your level. Are you worthy of being called a genius? Lin Xian's eyes were filled with disdain. The surrounding people sucked in a breath of cold air. They didn't expect that not only was the opponent's battle strength shocking, but his mouth was also terrifying. Didn't he see that Lei Qianzhong was about to vomit blood? Sure enough, Lei Qianzhong's body trembled. He was about to go crazy. To be honest, he really wanted to release the seal and kill the opponent. But in the end, he held back. The next time we meet, I can guarantee that you'll be a dead man. After saying this, Lei Qianzhong turned around and quickly left. His companions beside him quickly followed. Chapter 3509. The eldest young master's expression turned ugly. He originally held this sparring session to show off his strength and show off his esteemed guest, Lei Qianzhong, so that everyone would be envious of him. However, he didn't expect that Lei Qianzhong would be the one to make a fool of himself. This was something he didn't even dream of. Damn it! It was this guy who had messed up his plan. He coldly stared at Lin Xian, then glanced at the fatty. The fatty was so scared that his entire body turned cold. It's over. I've been targeted by the eldest young master. However, Lin Xian didn't care at all. Fellow Taoist, aren't your words a bit too much? The eldest young master coldly said. Lin Xian turned around. Oh, what? You still want to save face for that trash? Don't waste your energy. I've already given them a lot of face. Otherwise, do you think he would dare to fight me at the same level? The eldest young master's mouth twitched, but he couldn't say anything. He coldly snorted, then turned around and left. Fight at the same level? What a joke. Lei Qianzhong couldn't even beat the eldest young master with his cultivation at the 2nd sky. If he was at the 1st sky in the seal, he would probably be beaten up. Lei Qianzhong left, and so did the eldest young master. They both left in anger. because if they stayed here, they would probably go crazy from anger. Everyone was stunned. They didn't expect such a scene. However, at this moment, someone gently clapped. Wonderful, truly wonderful, truly wonderful. I haven't seen eldest young master so angry for many years. You've really opened my eyes. The one who spoke was the third young master. He was indeed very happy, because among the younger generation of the 9 Netherbird clan, only the eldest young master was above him. If the eldest young master was unlucky, he could step on him. Now that someone could make the eldest young master suffer, how could he not be happy? Brother, I sincerely invite you again. Are you interested in joining hands with me? We can create a golden age together. Join hands with you? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. I don't think you've forgotten, right? You wanted to attack me before, and even wanted to kill me. Just now, you even used your eldest young master's hand to kill me. Do you think I'll join hands with you? Indeed, Lin Xian was also disdainful of the third young master. This third young master was too sinister and liked to use underhanded methods. Moreover, he had joined forces with the Vermilion Bird Palace and the 8-Wind Palace. Why would Lin Xian join forces with them? The fact that Lin Xian didn't attack the third young master was already giving the 9 Nether clan a lot of face. However, the third young master didn't seem to know. He even said proudly, brother, you're wrong. There are no eternal enemies, only common interests. If we work together, we can really combine our strengths. Hearing this, Fatty tensed up. F***CK. This OL3 is trying to poach me again. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and smiled. Is that so? If you really want to join hands with me, it's not impossible. But what? Fellow Taoist, feel free to tell me. I can definitely do it. Third young master said hurriedly. To be honest, he was a little excited right now because from his previous performance, this Lin Xian wasn't any weaker than Lei Qianzhong. If he could recruit such a person to his side, then he would have the strength to fight against boss. Can do anything? Isn't this a little too arrogant? Lin Xian shook his head. Why are you doubting my strength? Don't worry, there's nothing I can't do. Third young master's eyes flashed with arrogance. He only lacked a strong assistant now. As long as he had a peerless genius by his side, he could definitely fight for the title of number 1 among the younger generation of the 9 Nether clan. Therefore, he waved his hand and said, whatever conditions you have, I won't even frown. Is that so? Lin Xian smiled faintly. If you want to join hands with me, it's very simple. Get rid of all the nobodies around you. I don't need to be with these trash. Get lost. Trash. Everyone was dumbfounded. They felt like their brains were about to explode. Who are these people beside the third young master? Those are the experts of the Vermilion Bird Palace and the 8-Wind Palace. How terrifying are these people? They're definitely existences that can suppress an entire world. But in his eyes, they're just ants? Third young master was also stunned. He didn't expect Lin Xian to make such a request. He was stunned for a moment. Beside him, those from the Vermilion Bird Palace, Dragon Valley, and 8-Wind Palace were enraged and stood up one after another. Kid, what did you say? Say it again. You want to die? They were really angry. What? You're not convinced that you're trash? Lin Xian's eyes flashed with a cold light. If you're not convinced, then come out and fight. A battle to the death. When those words came out, those people on the other side almost vomited blood. Damn it, a battle to the death? What a joke. Even Lei Qianzhong can't defeat him. How can we go up and watch? Isn't this bullying? They were all trembling with anger, but no one dared to accept the challenge. The scene became very strange for a moment. Many people were speechless. They didn't know why Lin Xian dared to be so arrogant. In fact, they didn't know the hatred between Lin Xian, Dragon Valley, and the Vermilion Bird Palace. These major factions were still on the Langius Star, preparing to capture him. Why would he go easy on the disciples of these sects? Damn kid, tell us your name if you have the guts. A sky pride from the Vermilion Bird Palace gritted his teeth. Lin Xian said arrogantly with his hands behind his back. You? You don't have the right to know. You're courting death. The sky pride roared. As soon as he finished speaking, he was sent flying with a slap. Half of his face was smashed. Lin Xian retracted his hand and said coldly, "If you say another word, I'll kill you." Pfft. The people from the Vermilion Bird Palace were so angry that they vomited blood. However, no one dared to say another word. The people from the Dragon Valley and Eight Wind Palace subconsciously took 2 steps back. On the other hand, the third prince's face was incomparably pale. "I invited you out of goodwill, but you attacked my friends. Isn't that too much? Don't forget that no matter how powerful you are, you're still a member of the younger generation. This is the territory of the Abysmal Tribe. Judging from your tone, are you threatening me?" Lin Xian sneered. "You can't even be polite to the wise, and you want to recruit sky prides? Dream on. I admit that you're right. This is indeed the territory of the Abysmal Tribe, but so what? Can you represent the Abysmal Tribe?" The third prince was stunned. The others also fell silent. Although the third prince was a sky pride of the Abysmal Tribe and had an extraordinary status, no one would believe that he could represent the Abysmal Tribe. If he said that the living fossil could definitely represent the Abysmal Tribe. Third prince? He's too far away. Even the eldest prince isn't qualified. Since you can't represent the Abysmal Tribe, what right do you have to threaten me with the Abysmal Tribe? Maybe in 2 days, the Abysmal Tribe will treat me as an important guest. At that time, you'll have to be respectful when you see me. Treat you as an important guest? Good, good, good. I'd like to see what right you have to say such big words. The third prince's face was ashen. He waved his sleeves and turned to leave. Beside him, the experts from the Dragon Valley and Eight Emperors Palace also left. Before they left, their eyes were filled with cold killing intent. The eldest prince and Lei Qianzhong left with their people. Who would have thought that the third prince would also leave with his people? Moreover, they were all angered by Lin Xian. These people will probably vomit blood when they return. Chapter 35:10. The surrounding people felt that it was unreal. On Gold Planet, who dared to be disrespectful to the 2 young masters of the 9 Netherbird race? But now, someone actually did it, and no one dared to refute. It was a rare sight that happened once in 1,000 years. Brother, you're awesome. Really eye-opening. Didn't you see the sullen faces of Boss and Old Three? Haha, I probably won't forget it in my life. Too satisfying. Fatty was incomparably excited. He had been bullied by these 2 since he was young. Now that he saw their sullen faces, he really felt too good. He looked at Lin Xian with stars in his eyes. Brother, I'll follow you in the future. You're my boss. Lin Xian laughed when he heard that. Aren't you afraid that your 9 Netherbird race will fight it out with me? Fatty also laughed awkwardly. Indeed, in their 9 Netherbird race's territory, he was still the young master of the 9 Netherbird race. Now, he actually had to acknowledge a boss in front of everyone. If their elders knew, they would probably slap him to death. However, Lin Xian laughed and said, "You don't have to acknowledge me as your boss. Let me ask you, do you want to be the boss of the younger generation of the 9 Netherbird race?" Hearing that, Fatty sucked in a breath of cold air. Brother, what do you mean? Lin Xian laughed and then transmitted his voice. What I mean is that I don't like Old Three and Boss. He was indeed right. He didn't like these 2 because they colluded with those people from the Vermilion Bird Palace. And with today's situation, those people definitely wouldn't let it go. Perhaps they might do something. You're saying that they will attack us? It can't be. Fatty's face was full of shock. Although something like this happened today, Fatty felt that it wasn't very likely that it would be an assassination. Then, let's wait and see. Next, Lin Xian and the rest changed back. After returning, Lin Xian set up a formation. Then, they hid in another formation. In the latter half of the night, suddenly, a few dark shadows appeared in the void and charged towards them. The formation that Lin Xian set up was an illusion formation. There were illusions of him, Ming Ming, and Fatty inside. At this moment, the assassins charged towards the phantom. The strength of these people was extremely terrifying. They were all saints. Their attacks were all fatal. Moreover, their weapons were smeared with poison. Pung pung pung. The 3 assassins charged towards Fatty and the others. When the daggers cut through their bodies, the 3 assassins quickly retreated. They were incomparably confident because this poison was extremely terrifying. As long as one touched it, no one would be able to survive. What? Am I right? Hidden in another array formation, Lin Xian said faintly. Fatty's face turned ugly. If it wasn't for Lin Xian, he would have been killed without a sound. Damn it! Damn it! Fatty gritted his teeth. Bro, tell me what you want me to do. I'll listen to you. Previously, the fatty didn't think much of it. At most, he would be bullied. But now, Big Brother and Third Brother actually wanted to kill him. Fatty couldn't stand it. Since the other party has attacked us, we naturally have to fight back. However, killing the first and third young masters is too big of a target and will easily cause a commotion. This matter can wait. You can slowly deal with them in the future. What I can do now is to weaken the forces around them as much as possible. You want to make a move on the people around them? Fatty was shocked. Lin Xian nodded. That's right. At least half of this matter was because of the people around them. Therefore, making a move on them can be considered as revenge. But we don't have enough manpower. Can you handle it alone? Lin Xian said. No problem. However, I still need your help. Fantasy and I will create a clone. Then, you will bring our clones to visit 9 Nether Yenran. Dream's true body and I will go kill those people. This way, even if those people suspect us in the future, with 9 Nether Yenran as our alibi, we will be safe. All right. Fatty's eyes lit up. This time, he was going to do something big. Next, Lin Xian and Fantasy each created a clone. Fatty brought these 2 clones to 9 Nether Yenran's residence. Meanwhile, Lin Xian and Fantasy's true bodies were hidden in the void. They were going to carry out an assassination. Fantasy would go to Third Young Master's residence and assassinate the Vermilion Bird Palace experts around him. As for Lin Xian, he was going to make a move on First Young Master's side. This time, it was an assassination. Therefore, they would take action very quickly. If they failed, they would retreat far away. In the hall, 9 Nether Yenran held a jade slip in her hand. Her exquisite face was filled with seriousness. Outside, a maid quickly walked in. Miss, 6th Young Master is outside asking for an audience. 6th Young Master? 9 Nether Yenran stopped what she was doing and raised her head. She asked, just him? The maid said, no, other than 6th Young Master. His 2 companions are also with him. Quickly ask them to come in. 9 Nether Yenran stood up. She was originally very interested in Lin Xian and wanted to find an opportunity to probe him. She didn't expect 6th Young Master to bring people here. This saved her a lot of trouble. She had to meet this mysterious young prodigy. 6th Young Master, please come with me. Sister Yenran wants to see you. The maid outside smiled. Fatty smiled. He quickly led Lin Xian and Fantasy's doppelganger into the hall. On the other side, in First Young Master's residence. First Young Master had originally prepared a banquet to celebrate, but now everyone was no longer in the mood. After Lei Qianzhong returned, he went into seclusion and didn't come out. He looked very angry. First Young Master went to invite him a few times, but to no avail. He could only give up. At the same time, the Vermilion Bird Palace, 8 Wind Palace, and Dragon Valley experts beside him also had ugly expressions. Damn it, it's all that despicable brat's fault. Not only did he offend young Master Lei, he even dared to provoke us. I really want to find a chance to kill him. Don't worry, we've already returned and said that we succeeded. That kind of poison can definitely kill them. That's natural. This poison was brought from the 2nd astral realm. Even a 3rd heaven saint like him wouldn't be able to resist it. Everyone sneered. First Young Master said, all right, there are many things to do today. Everyone, rest early. With that, he left. Those people also returned to their own rooms, either to cultivate or rest. The night gradually quieted down. However, they didn't know that in the sky, a figure stood there like a demon god, coldly looking down. Poison from the 2nd astral realm. So it was you guys who did it. Since that's the case, don't blame me for being impolite. A cold, murderous intent appeared in Lin Xian's eyes. He already had a grudge with the Vermilion Bird Palace and the other major forces. Now that they attacked him again, Lin Xian's heart was filled with killing intent. Whoosh! A black aura rose from his body. It was demonic qi. At this moment, Lin Xian directly transformed into a demon. The great destruction spear was also pulled out by him. His face was shrouded. Only a pair of cold eyes could be seen. Transforming into demonic qi was a piece of cake for Lin Xian. He tore open the void and attacked downwards. Chapter 35:11. The palace below was filled with a fire array. Countless flames formed a vermilion bird that coiled around a man. It was extremely mysterious. This was an expert from the Vermilion Bird Palace. He was currently cultivating. Buzz. Suddenly, he opened his eyes, revealing a trace of fear. He then looked in all directions. There was no one. He did not detect anything, but his heart was trembling uneasily. It was as if some danger was approaching. Was it an illusion? The expert from the Vermilion Bird Palace frowned and carefully sensed for a while. He could not sense anything. He stared at his eyes again and turned his palms towards the sky, preparing to cultivate. Poof! Suddenly, a black spear came out of his heart. It was stained with blood. It was extremely strange. The expert from the Vermilion Bird Palace opened his eyes wide in disbelief. There was someone. There was indeed someone. But who was it? Why did he not sense it? He wanted to turn his head, but he did not even have the strength to do so. This attack caused his strength and vitality to rapidly drain away. His head only managed to turn halfway before he fell to the ground. His soul was instantly stared to death. The first one. The demonic figure withdrew the great destruction spear. His eyes shone with a golden light and a cold aura. Then, he tore through the void and disappeared. This was destined to be a night of bloodshed. Lin Xian was like a ghost, appearing in every palace. Every time he attacked, it was a fatal blow. The great dragon sword soul destroyed everything. The heavenly secret god eye destroyed the opponent's soul. He was like the grim reaper in the darkness. In the end, the experts from the Vermilion Bird Palace, 8 Desolation Palace, Dragon Valley, and other experts around the eldest young master were all killed. Throughout the entire process, these people did not resist at all. Buzz. After dealing with the last one, Lin Xian left completely. On the other side, Fantasy had also returned. How was it? Lin Xian asked. Dreamy nodded. Everything had been resolved without anyone knowing. All right, let's go back. Lin Xian and Fantasy God Eye turned around and returned. In another palace, the fatty looked at the time. He felt that it was about time, so he returned from 9 Nether Yenron's place. Who was this guy? 9 Nether Yenron's little face was a little gloomy. Until now, she still hadn't found out the other party's identity. She planned to wait for 2 days and find an opportunity to try again. The next day, there was only 1 day left before the living fossil's birthday banquet. The eldest young lord opened his eyes, recovering from his cultivation. He was going to look for Lei Qianzhong again, as he would need to rely on him in the future. This time, he didn't plan to go alone. He planned to bring the experts of the Vermilion Bird Palace with him. Thinking about it, Lei Qianzhong shouldn't be able to refuse to meet them. Someone, bring the geniuses out. His subordinates hurried over, but soon, they heard screams. Eldest young master, this is bad. These people were scared shitless. The eldest young master's face sank. What was going on that made him so flustered? He was already in a bad mood, and the way his subordinates were behaving made him even more dissatisfied. He had to calm himself down first. The eldest young master took a sip of spirit tea. After a while, he asked, "Speak. What is it?" That subordinate was sweating profusely from anxiety, but in front of the eldest young master, he did not dare to be impudent at all. After the eldest young master spoke, he said, "Young master, the people from the Vermilion Bird Palace are dead." What? The eldest young master stood up abruptly, the spirit tea in his hand shattered. Not only that, the ground beneath his feet and the space behind him were also crumbling. It was a scene of apocalypse. The subordinate was so frightened that he fell to his knees, trembling. The eldest young master lifted him up. "What did you say? Say it again." "The people from the Vermilion Bird Palace are dead. Moreover, the experts from the 8 Wind Palace and Dragon Valley were all killed." How is this possible? The eldest young master's pupils shrank. He couldn't believe his ears. The geniuses he recruited were all dead? Impossible. He threw his subordinate to the side, turned into a streak of light, and rushed into the distance. Greetings to the eldest young master. In the distant palace, there were already many guards waiting. When they saw the streak of light, the guards bowed respectfully. The eldest young master ignored them and walked straight into the palace. In the next moment, he felt as if he was struck by lightning. The person lying on the ground in front of him was a man. The vermilion bird totem on his body had dimmed, but the eldest young master could tell at a glance that this was an expert from the Vermilion Bird Palace. Was he really dead? This was a saint. It was not an easy task to kill a saint completely. He went forward to check carefully. Then, his body turned even colder. He was indeed dead, and he was thoroughly dead. There was no possibility of revival. There was only one fatal wound, which was the heart. It was pierced by a sharp weapon. The eldest young master carefully sensed it. He felt a trace of extremely terrifying aura. Was that demonic chi? He frowned, turned around, and ran toward the second palace. In the end, he found the same scene. The heart of an expert from the Eight-Wind Palace was pierced, leaving behind a trace of demonic chi. The third, the fourth, everyone died in the same way. Their hearts were pierced in an instant. But how is that possible? Pierced through the heart? They could revive even if they were killed. But now, these saints were all killed. Then, this attack wasn't an ordinary one that pierced through the heart. It was a killing blow that wiped out all of their vitality, soul, and blood essence. What kind of attack was that? The eldest young master felt his scalp go numb. Ordinary saints couldn't do that, unless it was a minor saint. The eldest young master felt a lingering fear. If that person wanted to attack him, would he be able to survive? He didn't know. Suddenly, his heart skipped a beat. Lei Qianzhong. He didn't care about anything else and quickly rushed to where Lei Qianzhong was. When he found that Lei Qianzhong was fine and alive, he let out a sigh of relief. Someone, investigate this matter for me. Thoroughly investigate. Who dared to attack here? He must be torn into pieces. The eldest young master was furious. His subordinates quickly went to investigate. The news spread out. The third young master was the first to receive the news. When he received this news, he instantly became happy. Someone was going to target boss. Then, was this his chance? He needed to find someone to discuss this matter. However, when he found those geniuses, he was stunned. Those geniuses under him were all dead. Corpses, whether it was the Eight-Wind Palace, Vermilion Bird Palace, or Dragon Valley, all of them had their foreheads split open. The third young master roared like a wild beast. Damn it, check it out for me. He no longer had the mood to laugh because he suffered the same fate as the eldest young master. So many geniuses died here. Moreover, they were killed in an instant. This news was like an earthquake. It shook the 9 Netherbird clan and the entire Alchemy Valley. Chapter 35:12. This was no longer a matter between the two young masters, but the elders of the Paul Netherbird clan. The powerhouses moved out one after another, completely sealing off the Golden Fire Plains. Someone dared to make a move in their territory, regardless of who it was. Once they found the culprit, they would kill him. For a moment, the undercurrents in Alchemy Valley surged, and the powerhouses inside went crazy. They were all guessing which ruthless person dared to do such a thing under the nose of the Paul Netherbird clan. Was he not afraid of being found out? However, after searching for a long time, they did not find the culprit, not even a suspicious person. That was even more shocking. That was impossible. Could it be that he had already left? Everyone guessed. First young master, third young master, and the others gritted their teeth because they thought of someone. Damn it, it can't be that kid, right? I'll go find sixth young master. They moved out one after another, heading towards the palace where the fatty was. Soon, they arrived at the palace where the fatty was and surrounded it. What was going on? The others also followed. When they saw this scene, they did not understand what was going on. Someone immediately guessed that it could not be that kid who did it, right? Are you talking about the young prodigy who shouted at Lei Qianzhong? They sucked in a breath of cold air and thought of Lin Xian. That's impossible, right? However, some people did not dare to believe it. Is he really that bold? Humph. We'll know when we see it. The truth will come out soon. Sixth young master, get out here. First young master roared, shaking heaven and earth. Inside the palace, the fatty's expression was anxious. It's over. They still came to find us. Have we been exposed? Lin Xian said. Don't worry. We definitely won't be exposed. Don't be nervous. The fatty nodded, took a deep breath, and then deactivated the array formation. Big brother, why are there so many of you here? What happened? What happened? First young master was furious when he heard that. How dare you play dumb in front of me? Tell that kid beside you to come out. Come out. Yes, that's right. Tell him to come out and die. Third young master also shouted coldly, his eyes filled with incomparable killing intent. What? Why are you looking for me? Before the fatty could say anything, Lin Xian walked out and looked around coldly. We embarrassed you yesterday, and now you're here for revenge? This is in front of everyone. Don't you care about your family's reputation at all? Brat, stop pretending. It's not because of yesterday's provocation. It's because someone went to my palace last night and killed all the geniuses I invited. That's right, I invited the geniuses, but they were all killed. They're all geniuses from top forces. How am I supposed to explain this to them? Third young master gritted his teeth and roared. Lin Xian rolled his eyes. What does it have to do with me that the person you invited was killed? You dare to say that you didn't kill him? What a joke. Do you have any evidence? Lin Xian's face darkened as he knew that he couldn't speak carelessly. You two have lost experts, but why are you looking for me? Is it just because I've gone against you? What a joke. Then let me ask you, who are the people who died? Naturally, they were the geniuses of the Vermilion Bird Palace, Dragon Valley, and 8 Desolation Palace. The eldest young master harumphed coldly. Hearing this, Lin Xian laughed out loud. You should know that these are all top geniuses. Those forces aren't any weaker than the Jirio family, right? I'm out of my mind. Go kill them. Besides, what evidence do you have to prove that I killed them? Could it be that you think my strength is so terrifying that I can kill so many experts silently? As soon as he said this, the surrounding crowd started to discuss. Indeed, in a one-on-one fight, those people might not be able to defeat Lin Xian. However, it was also impossible for Lin Xian to kill them silently with one move. What was even stranger was that among them, they were all killed in one move. They didn't even have a chance to resist or call for help. This wasn't something a first heaven saint could do. It was at least a small saint, or possibly a holy venerable. Who knows if it's you? Your cultivation is so low, but your combat strength is so strong. It's very suspicious. That's right. Although there's no concrete evidence now, as long as we capture you and interrogate you, we'll definitely be able to find out. I think it's better to collect your soul. The first and third young masters walked up, their eyes filled with killing intent. Soul search. Everyone's scalps went numb. Lin Xian also frowned. Fatty was also unhappy. Big brother, third brother, aren't you guys going overboard? Old Six, do you have the right to speak? Get lost. The first and third young masters roared. Fatty was so angry that his whole body trembled. F***CK. I'm going all out. I must support Lin Xian now. He shouted coldly. When did your people die? Of course it was last night. Be more specific? After midnight. Old Six, you can't protect him at all. Don't try to cover up the murderer. Otherwise, you'll end up very badly. The first young master's face was extremely cold. Fatty clenched his teeth and said, if it happened last night, then it wasn't my brother who did it. Because at that time, my brother and I were chatting with Sister Yanran. What? As soon as he said this, the surrounding crowd was in an uproar. The first and third young masters were also stunned. Chatting with 9 Nether Yanran? How could it be? Old Six, don't blame me for breaking your legs if you continue to talk nonsense. How could I talk nonsense about such an important matter? Fatty gritted his teeth and said to the servant beside him, hurry up and invite Sister Yanran over. There's no need. I'm already here. A cold voice came from afar. Then, a beauty in purple walked over. Sister Yinran, you have to help me, Fatty said with an aggrieved face. Nine Nether Yinran looked at Fatty, then looked at Lin Xian and nodded slightly. Then, she turned around and stared at the first and third young masters. She frowned and said, I've heard about what happened between the two of you, but this time, you're too arbitrary. You're arresting people without concrete evidence. This isn't the style of our Nine Nether clan. Yinran, are you going to protect him? The first young master asked coldly. Nine Nether Yinran said, I'm not protecting him. I'm just telling everyone the truth. Last night, I was indeed chatting with sixth young master Xian, and Miss Ming. I can guarantee this with my status. The crowd was in an uproar. They didn't expect the other party to have such an obvious alibi. But thinking about it, a first heaven sage couldn't do this no matter how powerful he was. The first and third young masters were obviously looking for someone to take the blame. Sure enough, when the first and third young masters heard Nine Nether Yinran's words, their faces became extremely ugly. They weren't sure that the other party was the culprit, but they couldn't do so anymore. They had to find someone to give the Vermilion Bird Palace and 8 Wind Palace an explanation. Otherwise, when those experts came, they wouldn't be able to explain. Now that it was impossible to make 6th Young Master and Lin Xian take the blame, they had to find another way. The two of them turned around and wanted to leave. Wait a minute. However, Lin Xian spoke up at that moment. Everyone froze and turned their heads. They didn't understand what he wanted to do. The first and third young masters also turned around abruptly with a fierce look in their eyes. Brat, you dare to stop us? You want to die. Chapter 35:13. You're so aggressive, using your status to oppress me, and you want to leave just like that? It can't be that simple. What is this kid talking about? Everyone was stunned. Even Fatty was stunned. F***CK. It wasn't easy to send his two brothers away. But now, he dared to make a request? Fatty felt like he was going crazy. Even Yinran of Nine Nether was stunned. She didn't expect Lin Xian to be so bold. What do you want? Do you want us to apologize? Eldest young master said coldly. That's right, they should apologize. You did something wrong, so shouldn't you apologize? Moreover, you should apologize. The two of you, give me a saint artifact each. Then, sincerely apologize and I can forgive you this once. F***CK. What is he talking about? He wants the two young masters to apologize and give them 2 sacred artifacts? F***CK. Is this kid crazy? The surrounding people felt like they were going crazy. Third young master and eldest young master couldn't believe their ears. They were so angry that they laughed. Kid, what did you say? Say it again. Sigh. Lin Xian sighed. Now, all the experts and geniuses from all over the universe were here. This was a great opportunity for the Nine Nether tribe. But now, someone actually dared to ruin the reputation of the Nine Nether tribe. If this spread to all over the universe, the loss would be more than just an apology. How simple would that be? F***CK. Kid, how dare you threaten me? Third young master roared. Eldest young master's eyes were also filled with killing intent. Yinran of Nine Nether frowned. The other party was right. If this continued, the Nine Nether tribe would be the one losing face. So, she looked at eldest young master and third young master. You two did wrong. You framed others before getting the evidence. I also think you should apologize. What? Eldest young master and third young master were stunned. Yinran of Nine Nether wanted them to apologize. What was going on? Yinran, who are we? Who does he think he is? Is he worthy of us apologizing? The two companies were proud. Yinran of Nine Nether said, It's because of our special status that we should apologize. We should be humble. Only by being flexible can we lead the Nine Nether tribe in the future. This was what the ancestor said. Are you not going to listen to the old ancestor's lesson? Once this was said, the first and third young masters couldn't remain calm. They could ignore other people, but they definitely couldn't ignore the old ancestor. The reason for that was because they had put forth a great deal of effort to gain the favor of their old ancestor. If they were to go against their old ancestor now, they would not be able to do anything. In that case, their fates would definitely be very miserable. Therefore, in order to please the old ancestor, the two of them had to apologize. They took a deep breath and said with great reluctance. The two of them cupped their fists and said, "This time, we were rash and did not investigate thoroughly. Please forgive us, young master." The surrounding people couldn't believe their eyes. Tianya, these two young masters actually apologized. Lin Xian crossed his arms and nodded slightly. "For the sake of your ancestor, I won't pursue the matter this time." However, he couldn't afford to lose two saint artifacts. He even wanted a saint artifact. The faces of the two young masters turned green. Damn it, they didn't even have a saint artifact in their hands, and they were going to give it to the other party? What a joke. At this time, Nine Nether Yinran also said, "Young master, saint artifacts are too unusual, and this was just a misunderstanding. It didn't cause much damage. How about this? I'll let the two of them compensate you with a half-saint artifact each. How about that?" "All right, for the sake of the fairy, I'll reluctantly agree." Lin Xian nodded again. However, he smiled in his heart. Two half-saint artifacts were not bad. Moreover, they were refined by the Nine Nether clan, so their power was extraordinary. Damn it. The two young masters took out the two half-saint artifacts reluctantly and threw them over. Then, they left with dark faces and murderous auras. Lin Xian smiled and put away the two half-saint artifacts. Then, under the shocked gazes of the crowd, he invited Nine Nether Yinran in. The disturbance outside continued, but it had nothing to do with Lin Xian anymore. Now, no one dared to suspect him. Moreover, the disturbance quickly subsided because the birthday of the living fossil had finally arrived. This day was incomparably lively. It was probably the busiest day in the entire Alchemy Valley in the past 1,000 years. On the plain, a huge sky palace floated up and down. It was a saint artifact refined by the old ancestor. At this moment, the birthday banquet was going on inside. Of course, those who could enter were not ordinary people. Those who were weaker could only stay outside. They didn't even have the right to enter the sky palace. The positions inside were all meticulously arranged, and there would not be any mistakes. Among them, there were the older generation figures, and there was no need to talk about them. Among the younger generation, Lei Qianzhong's position was the highest. The first young master accompanied him. Originally, there were seats for the Vermilion Bird Palace and 8 Wind Palace's geniuses. However, there was no need for them now. Under the first young master was the third young master and the geniuses around him. The fatty was further away, even closer to the main hall's entrance. One could imagine that his position in the family was not very high. Why didn't I see Nine Nether Yinran? Lin Xian was slightly surprised. He thought that Nine Nether Yinran's position should be higher than the first young master's. The fatty explained, "Sister Yinran must be with the old ancestor." As expected, after everyone sat down, a group of people walked out of the main hall. At the front was an old man. His white hair reached his ankles. He wore a loose red robe. At first glance, he gave off an immortal aura. He was the living fossil of the Nine Nether clan. To the left of the Nine Nether clan's old ancestor stood a beautiful woman. She was Nine Nether Yinran. At this moment, she was supporting the old ancestor as they slowly walked over. Nine Nether Yinran was even more beautiful today. She was still wearing a purple dress, but it was obvious that she had dressed up meticulously. She gave off an otherworldly aura. Behind her was a group of elders and experts. They were all important figures of the Nine Nether clan. Usually, they held high positions. However, this time, no one looked at them. Instead, they were all looking at the figure at the front. It was the Nine Nether clan's old ancestor. The Nine Nether clan's old ancestor was quite calm. It was as if he didn't care about anyone present. He walked slowly, but every step he took was very steady. Finally, he came to the north and sat down slowly. After greeting the old ancestor, the Nine Nether clan's martial artists bowed respectfully. The other experts also congratulated the old ancestor. Good, good, good. You don't have to be so polite. The old ancestor of the Nine Nether clan waited for everyone to finish their greetings before he smiled. With a wave of his hand, everyone felt an invisible force holding their bodies back. Thank you for traveling thousands of miles and crossing worlds. Yinran is here to toast everyone on behalf of the old ancestor. Nine Nether Yinran was the first to stand up. She took the spiritual wine and bowed slightly to everyone. Then, she drank it in one gulp. Fairy Yinran is too polite. It is our great fortune to be able to attend the old ancestor's birthday banquet. Yes, who doesn't know that the old ancestor is the famous master blacksmith of the execution of heaven? Chapter 35:14. The birthday banquet began, and everyone was ready to present their treasures. Everyone's faces were glowing. The nine Netherbird clan hoped to be valued by the Grand Elder. That way, they might be able to take over the nine Netherbird clan in the future. As for the outsiders, they hoped to have a chance to meet the Grand Elder alone. It was said that this way, they could ask the Grand Elder a question. Everyone was excited, especially the first prince and third prince. They were the two most likely candidates to compete. Among the outsiders, Lei Qianzhong was probably the most powerful. Lin Xian looked at the living fossil curiously. He was very confident in presenting his treasures. This was because he felt that no one could make a living fossil more excited than him when he saw a treasure. Buzz. As if sensing Lin Xian's gaze, the living fossil in front of him turned his eyes and looked over. It was a short meeting. Lin Xian felt that the other party's eyes were deep and filled with the vicissitudes of time. Those eyes were like the sun, moon, and stars. Lin Xian's soul was almost lost in them. However, they returned to normal in an instant. The nine Netherbird clan's Grand Elder was stunned and quickly retracted his gaze. He was still expressionless, but in his heart, he was very surprised. Who was this young man? It was hard to believe that he wasn't affected by him. That person was standing beside the fatty. If he was standing beside the first prince or third prince, the living fossil wouldn't be surprised because those two were the most outstanding of the younger generation of the nine Netherbird clan. However, the fatty wasn't considered outstanding in the clan. How did he manage to recruit such a person? He was very curious. He looked at Lin Xian again and saw that Lin Xian was very calm. It was as if he wasn't affected by the atmosphere at all. On the other hand, the surrounding sages were all agitated. What a strange young man. The great Supreme Elder was astonished. The fatty didn't know that Lin Xian had been targeted by their Grand Elder. He said anxiously, "Brother, do you think my 3,000 ancestral green gold will work?" Lin Xian smiled. "Sure, no problem. Even if it can't be compared to your two brothers, it won't fall behind." "That's right." Fatty nodded. Indeed, this was a material for crafting saint artifacts. At this moment, the eldest young master stood up. Everyone looked over. It seemed like the eldest young master wanted to see the treasure. What kind of treasure is this young master going to find? With eldest young master's status and wealth, that treasure definitely wouldn't be bad. The surrounding people were discussing animatedly. They were all very curious. The eldest young master said with a smile, "Grandson wishes old ancestor good fortune as the East Sea and longevity as long as the South Mountain. Thanks to the great fortune of the old ancestor, I obtained a bunch of treasures by chance." It was a blue sky painting. Someone had found it on the stone wall of the ancient cavern. It was said that an ancient holy venerate left it behind while cultivating. It was very useful for comprehending the great Tao of heaven and earth. This grandson is willing to offer it to the old ancestor. The crowd was in an uproar. The blue sky picture was left behind by the holy sage. This was a heaven-shaking treasure. Everyone was going crazy. They didn't expect that the eldest young master would take out such a precious treasure right off the bat. The faces of the nine Nether Tribe's youngsters instantly darkened. Damn it, they were suppressed by their boss again. They reckoned that no one could compete with him. Initially, they were full of confidence and thought that their treasures were very good. However, when their boss took out the blue sky picture, everyone gave up. Who could compete with the treasure left behind by the holy sage? Fatty took a deep breath. Damn it, am I on steroids? Where did I get such a thing? The eldest young master revealed a satisfied smile. Not to mention the old ancestor's attitude, just the envious and jealous gazes of the surrounding people made him very happy. He wanted to be the center of attention. A bunch of trash. How dare you compete with me? Looking at the people in the tribe, the eldest young master was even more disdainful. This time, he could definitely secure his position as the young clan leader. The third young master's face also changed. Initially, he was quite confident in his own gift. However, he didn't expect his boss's gift to be so precious. In this case, he wasn't very confident anymore. However, no matter what, he had to give it a try. Therefore, the third young master also stood up and said quickly, "Old ancestor, this grandson also obtained a treasure." Buzz. He flipped his palm, and an apple-sized gem appeared. The gem was crystal clear. It was red for a while, then blue for a while. When it was red, it had a scorching aura. When it was blue, it had a cold aura. What a magical gem! It must be a mutated divine crystal. The surrounding people were surprised. However, some of the older generation exclaimed, "What is this? Could it be that thing?" They were extremely excited. That's right. I think some of the elders and seniors have already guessed it. The third young master smiled. It was that thing. It wasn't an immortal state, but a monster core. It was the inner core of a monster saint. This monster saint's cultivation was only at the second heaven of the sage realm. However, he was an extremely rare ice-fire beast. What? The inner core of an ice-fire beast? The crowd exclaimed again. The ice-fire beast was a monster beast of heaven and earth. Moreover, it was extremely rare and was almost extinct. Its inner core was very magical. It contained the great Tao of ice and fire. Moreover, it wasn't the ordinary great Tao of ice and fire. It was a great Tao that could perfectly merge. It could be said that the inner core of an ice-fire beast was extremely precious, especially a sage level one. This treasure was also extremely amazing. Seeing that the crowd exclaimed again, the third young master also smiled. The first young master frowned slightly. The item that the third young master took out was also not simple. However, he was more confident in his blue sky painting. The other members of the 9 Netherbird clan became very bitter. Damn, is the first young master and third young master on steroids? The treasures they took out are so powerful. Next, the others began to take out their treasures. However, those treasures would definitely be dazzling if they were taken out on normal days. However, compared to the blue sky painting and the ice-fire beast's inner core, they were much weaker. For a moment, there was basically no discussion. The first young master and the third young master had stolen the limelight. Sixth young master, why aren't you moving? Could it be that you're not prepared? The third young master glanced at the fatty. The first young master also said coldly, "Don't you care about the ancestors' birthday banquet? How is that possible?" "I've been meticulously preparing for the ancestors' birthday banquet." The fatty stood up and took out 3,000 pieces of green ancestral gold. Immediately, there was another round of exclamation. This was a material for refining divine artifacts. It was extremely precious. Although it was not as precious as the blue sky painting and the ice-fire beast's inner core, it was definitely ranked third. It surpassed the others' treasures. For a moment, the crowd was incomparably shocked. The sixth young master was usually at the bottom. How could he be in the top 3 now? Damn it! Where did he get such precious metals? He couldn't afford it even if he was beaten to death. Voices of doubt sounded one after another. Chapter 35:15. The item that the fatty took out was suspicious because 3,000 pieces of ancestral green gold was extremely precious. Even some saints could not afford it. Now that the fatty took it out, everyone could not help but be suspicious. Even 9 Nether Yinran was surprised. She did not expect her sixth brother to be able to take out such a treasure. It was really surprising. The third young master's expression also darkened. He had long heard that the fatty had something good, but he did not expect it to be true. Previously, he tried to snatch it but failed. Now that the fatty took it out, he stole the limelight. Humph! He sneered. He really couldn't tell that number 6 wasn't much on normal days. He didn't expect him to be able to take out such a treasure. However, I am very curious about the origin of this treasure. With your wealth, can you afford it? Sure enough, many people around looked at the fatty with suspicion. The fatty's expression changed, but he soon calmed down. He sneered. Third brother did not need to worry about whether he could afford it or not. However, if you are suspicious, you can investigate it. My origin is very honorable. I am not afraid of your investigation. Humph. The third young master snorted. The others did not say anything. Since the fatty acted like this, there should be no problem. Many people from the Nine Nether clan were shocked, and their faces were filled with jealousy. It was fine if they could not compete with the eldest and third young masters, but now they could not even compete with the sixth young master? Once the people of the Nine Underworlds clan offered up their treasures, they would become outsiders. Many of them presented many good treasures, causing the eyes of others to light up. However, the most eye-catching one was Lei Qianzhong. Lei Qianzhong took out a jade bottle and said loudly, "This is an elixir, an ancient elixir. I obtained it from an ancient cavern. I do not know the name of the elixir, but I named it the longevity elixir because this elixir can increase one's lifespan by 50 years. What? Everyone was in an uproar when they heard this. The living fossil Grand Elder suddenly opened his eyes, which were shining with a shocking light. Previously, whether it was the blue sky illustration or the ice fire inner core, they did not attract the living fossil's attention. Although these treasures were good, the living fossil had seen too many treasures in his life. Especially at his status, treasures were no longer what he pursued. What he pursued was power in life. However, at his level of cultivation, it was as difficult as ascending to the heavens for him to advance any further. It was very common for him to be trapped for hundreds or thousands of years without being able to advance any further. And there was another thing that made him very anxious, because he didn't have much time left. If he still couldn't make a breakthrough, he would most likely die. By then, no matter how powerful he was, he wouldn't be able to escape the 6 paths of reincarnation. But now, someone actually took out a pill that could increase his lifespan by 50 years, which made him go wild with joy. The others were even more envious. Medicinal pills that could increase one's life were the most precious. They could only be envious because they knew that this pill was for living fossils. As expected, Lei Qianzhong smiled and looked at the living fossil. "This is a small gift from Junior. I hope Senior will accept it." Good, good, good. Lei Qianzhong finally let out a laugh. He said, "Yanran, since that's the case, then take it." Yanran of Nine Nether's face was also filled with excitement. She carefully received the elixir pills from young Master Lei and bowed slightly to express her gratitude. Then, he turned around and came to the living fossil's side and took the jade bottle. The living fossil's hands were trembling. After receiving it, he immediately used his soul to inspect it. Then, he laughed excitedly. It was indeed a miraculous elixir. There were even more screams in the surroundings. They knew that there was probably no other item that could be more valuable than this. It seemed that Lei Qianzhong could make a request to the living fossil. As for what it was, they were even more curious. With Lei Qianzhong's status and strength, what kind of request could he make? The eldest young master also revealed a proud smile because he was the one who invited Lei Qianzhong. The third young master's face darkened. They had also taken out many treasures, but none of them could compare to this life elixir. Wow, the fatty's eyes widened. Damn, this is really an eye-opener. He was already very satisfied with his performance this time. Although he didn't get first place, he was still in the top 3. Thinking about it, after this birthday banquet, his identity and status would definitely undergo an earth-shaking change. Of course, all of this was because of Lin Xian. Therefore, he looked at Lin Xian gratefully. "Brother, I really have to thank you this time. If you need anything in the future, just say the word. If I don't do anything, I'm not human. Don't say that. I really do have something. Didn't you guys recently say that someone could make a request to the living flower stone? I'm going to make a request to your old ancestor." What? The fatty was so shocked that he almost fell off his chair. He said, "Brother, don't joke around." Although the rumor was true, this opportunity was too rare. Everyone wanted to fight for it. Especially now that Lei Qianzhong actually took out a life elixir. No one could compare. Why don't you just give something casually? In the fatty's opinion, it was useless no matter what Lin Xian gave. Since it was like this, it was better not to waste the treasure. That might not be the case. I'm determined to get this spot. Just watch. After saying that, he stood up. I also have a treasure to give to the Grand Elder. Lin Xian's voice echoed in the hall. Countless people looked over. It's him. It's actually this kid. They recognized Lin Xian. After all, Lin Xian was the one who provoked Lei Qianzhong. In the end, he forced the first and third young masters to leave. It could be said that he had won the attention of countless people. This guy's identity was definitely not ordinary. What kind of treasure could he give? It's useless. No matter how good his gift was, could it be better than the life elixir? That's right. Thinking about it, this guy should be aiming for that slot as well. But now, it seems that it's impossible. Humph. Lei Qianzhong also glanced at Lin Xian, revealing a cold smile. Competing with him in terms of treasures? The difference was too great. Previously, during the competition, he was suppressed by Lin Xian. Now, he could finally get back at him. His companion beside him sneered. Kid, I advise you not to waste your energy. No matter what you take out, it can't be compared to my young master's elixir. That's right. This spot must belong to my young master. The first young master also chuckled. His eyes were cold. What does this fellow cultivator want to give? Why don't you open our eyes? Previously, when he saw Lin Xian's performance, he was also gnashing his teeth. Now that he could suppress Lin Xian, he was naturally willing. The third young master had the same expression. No one believed that Lin Xian's gift could surpass Lin Xian's. Chapter 35:16. Unless it was also a longevity pill, and one with an even longer lifespan. However, this kind of longevity pill wasn't a cabbage, it was extremely precious. A single longevity pill was enough to make countless saints go crazy with envy. It wasn't easy for one to appear. How could there be a second one? They wouldn't believe it even if they were beaten to death. The Supreme Elder didn't raise his head. He didn't even look at Lin Xian, because his gaze was locked onto the jade bottle in his hand. His attention was completely attracted by the longevity pill in his hand. Lin Xian didn't care about it at all. He said, "This treasure of mine is incredible. As long as I take it out, no one can compare to it. No one can compare to it." What a joke. Can you compare to the longevity pill? Kid, stop bragging. Take out whatever you have. The first and third young masters mocked him. Lin Xian smiled. What I took out is really a longevity pill, and it's a 100-year longevity pill. What? Everyone went crazy. Lin Xian's voice reverberated throughout the hall. Furthermore, it was a medicinal pill that could increase one's lifespan by 100 years. How is that possible? They had thought of countless possibilities. They thought that Lin Xian was bragging, but they didn't expect him to have a longevity pill. Moreover, it was twice as old as Lei Qianzhong's. Impossible. Lei Qianzhong shook his head. A 100-year longevity pill. How could he have such a divine pill? He had spent a lot of effort to get it, because he had come to the first astral boundary for two purposes. Firstly, he wanted to announce a big piece of news, and secondly, he had his own selfish motives. He knew that the Netherworld tribe was a family of blacksmiths, and he had a weapon crafting blueprint in his hand. He wanted the living fossil to help him craft a weapon. This weapon was extremely important to him, so he had to take out the longevity pill. Otherwise, he wouldn't have taken out such a precious pill even if he was beaten to death. Now, someone had taken out the same pill, and its effect was twice as good as his. This was absolutely impossible. The first and third young master's expressions were extremely interesting. Soon, the first young master snorted coldly. What a joke. What do you think the Netherworld tribe is? Is he someone you can toy with as you wish? Men, throw this unreasonable person out for me. Immediately, someone walked over to them. This change was very sudden, so much so that everyone had yet to react. Lin Xian sneered. What? You want to kick me out? Sure, go ahead and attack. However, you old people will lose 100 years of your lifespan. Are you able to bear the consequences? As soon as these words came out, those who wanted to attack were all stunned. They really couldn't bear the consequences. That's impossible. You guys can't have that kind of medicinal pill. The eldest young master roared from behind. The martial artists in front hesitated, but at this time, Nine Nethers sweetly shouted out, Stop! What is this? The High Ancestor is still here. What right do you have to be so impudent? He quickly retreated. Hearing this, those martial artists instantly retreated. Nine Nether Yinran looked at Lin Xian. Young master, is what you said true? The patriarch beside her also raised his head with a look of disbelief in his eyes. A 50-year-old pill had already made him extremely excited. Now, there was one that could increase his lifespan by 100 years? He felt as if he was dreaming. Of course it's true. Lin Xian asked. I heard that whoever takes out the best treasure can make a request of the living fossil. She didn't know if this was true. This kid is indeed planning this. The surrounding people were also shocked. Although there was such a rumor, no one dared to mention it. If the gift you take out is the best, then I can agree to any of your requests. At this time, the living fossil personally spoke. Any of your requests. And he personally agreed to it. The surrounding people went crazy. Lei Qianzhong's lips curled into a smile. This was also equivalent to saying it to him. Moreover, he didn't believe that Lin Xian could take out something better than his longevity pill. All right, Grand Elder, take a look at what this is. Lin Xian flipped his hand and took out a jade box. The jade box was half the size of a palm and emitted a hazy light. Lin Xian slowly opened the jade box. There was a longan-sized pill inside, surrounded by countless runes of the Great Tao. A rich pill fragrance quickly wafted out. When the surrounding people smelled it, they were immediately intoxicated. This is? Their eyes widened as they felt an incredible change in their bodies. I call it the super longevity pill. It can increase one's lifespan by 100 years. It's another longevity pill and a super longevity pill. It can increase one's lifespan by 100 years. Doesn't this mean that it's twice as effective as Lei Qianzhong's pill? My heavens, where did this kid get such a good thing? The Grand Elder's eyes lit up. He couldn't wait to grab the Longan pill. He carefully sensed it and compared it with the pill in the jade bottle in his hand. In the next moment, he suddenly stood up. A terrifying holy aura exuded from his body. It was an energy that he couldn't suppress due to his excitement. There really was such a pill in the world. The Grand Elder was too excited again. He raised his head and stared at Lin Xian. Young master, where did you get this pill? Do you have more? I'll take as many as you have. The surrounding people were in an uproar. Looking at the reaction of the living fossil, could it be true? It has the effect of increasing one's lifespan by 100 years? This old guy is quite greedy. Lin Xian rolled his eyes in his heart, but he didn't show any expression on his face. He said that he only had one of this in his hand, and it was also obtained from an ancient ruin. The living fossil sighed. Only one? But it made sense. It was such a precious item. How could there be more? Now that there were two of them, it was already very heaven-defying. How is that possible? Damn it. I don't believe it. Lei Qianzhong's eyes widened. He couldn't accept it. The first and third young masters were also horrified. Lin Xian really had such a heaven-defying treasure. This time, the ninth underworld clan had really struck it rich. Yes, no matter who came first, the living fossil was equivalent to an extra 150 years of lifespan. The surrounding elders were also extremely envious. This kind of pill that could increase one's lifespan was extremely tempting to anyone. 150 years. That was impossible, Lin Xian said. This kind of thing could only be eaten once. It wouldn't have any effect if it was eaten again. The meaning of his words was obvious. The living fossil could only choose one of the two. It was impossible to get two of these pills at the same time. The other's eyes turned red. If the living fossil chose the 100-year pill, then Lei Qianzhong's pill would be empty. Wouldn't they have a chance? Thinking of this, their eyes flashed. They must find a chance to get this pill. What was the Grand Elder's idea? Lin Xian said again. Chapter 35:17. Ha 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 ha. Of course it's your pill that's better. The living fossil looked at Lin Xian. However, he did not hand over the 50-year lifespan pill. Even if he couldn't consume it, it would still be a great fortune for him. Lei Qianzhong's face instantly turned ugly. Damn it. He had lost the right to enter, and it seemed like the other party wanted to take his pill. Humph. He stood up and harumphed coldly. If that's the case, please return the pill to me, Grand Elder. If he couldn't get a spot, it would be meaningless for him to give the pill. The crowd was in an uproar. The people of the Nine Nether tribe were dissatisfied as they whispered, "What kind of stingy Mr. Lei was? How could he take back the pill he gave away? Wasn't this too laughable?" "What did you say?" Lei Qianzhong's eyes shone coldly. "Do you know what it means to increase one's lifespan? Does the Nine Nether tribe dare to touch my things? Let me tell you, I'm from the second astral realm." The second astral realm. Many people were shocked. They had already guessed his identity, but they didn't expect him to be from the second astral realm. Of course, there were also some who were confused. They didn't know what the second astral realm was. But soon, their faces were filled with fear. "I'm from the second astral realm, Sky Thunder City, the disciple of the Sky Thunder Sacred King." "What? The Sacred King's disciple?" The person in front of them was the Sacred King's disciple. The surrounding people went crazy. No wonder he was so powerful and could reach the third sky of the Sage Realm at such a young age. He was the Sacred King's disciple. Even Lin Xian was shocked. The second astral realm. The Sacred King. The second astral realm is the second part of the ancient star path. You will go there in the future. The geniuses and experts in the second astral realm are even more terrifying. They are far more powerful than the world you're in now. He Shan transmitted his voice. After Lin Xian heard this, he took a deep breath. It seemed that it was necessary for him to learn more about the two-star realm. Lei Qianzhong sneered when he saw the terrified gazes of the crowd. "Do you still dare to covet my treasure?" The people of the Nine Nether tribe felt their scalps going numb. The Sacred King? What a terrifying existence. A living sacred king could sweep through everything. They didn't dare to provoke him. The Sacred King. The Grand Elder also frowned and faintly said, "Young master, you're thinking too much. I know you came to the Nine Netherbird clan with a purpose. We can discuss this matter in private. Don't worry, I won't disappoint you." Lei Qianzhong snorted coldly and didn't say anything. He knew that the other party would cooperate with him after he revealed his identity. At this time, eldest young master also went forward to comfort them, and the atmosphere gradually calmed down. "Senior living fossil, can you fulfill my request now?" Lin Xian said in a deep voice. He didn't expect Lei Qianzhong to be so noble that he dared to talk back to a living fossil. However, the living fossils and the Nine Hells race didn't seem to dare to resist. This was not good for him. He was afraid that this living fossil would go back on his word. The living fossil was also rather impatient. "Young master, follow me." The birthday banquet continued, but the two of them had already left and were walking towards the depths of the main hall. After entering a secret chamber in the depths of the sky, the living fossil said, "All right, what requests does young master have? Feel free to state them." Lin Xian didn't stand on ceremony. "My request is very simple. Help me upgrade this spirit boat to the level of a sacred artifact." Sacred artifact? The Grand Elder was stunned. He glanced at the black earth and frowned. "Do you know what level a sacred artifact is? It's not an ordinary item. It's too precious. I can promise to upgrade it to the level of a half-sacred artifact." "Damn, old fox." Lin Xian cursed in his heart. He sneered. "A half-sacred artifact? I don't need to come to you. Although a sacred artifact is precious, it can't be compared to the pills I gave you. What, are you going back on your word? You only know that Lei Qianzhong came from the second astral realm and didn't dare to provoke him. But do you know my identity? Let me tell you, I also came from the second astral realm. I don't even care about Lei Qianzhong. If you want to go back on your word, you can imagine the consequences." The living fossil's expression changed. "You also came from the second astral realm." He was too shocked. He had already investigated Lei Qianzhong's identity, but he hadn't been able to find out Lin Xian's identity. Now that Lin Xian said that he also came from the second astral realm, he was shocked. Seeing that the other party was still doubting him, Lin Xian secretly transmitted his voice. "Hey Shan, release some of your aura." In the next moment, Lin Xian took out a token. It was a very ordinary token without any deterrence. However, He Shan's great sage aura was emitted from it, making it extremely mysterious. It was as if it could crush the entire world. The great elder sucked in a breath of cold air. His expression changed instantly. This aura was too terrifying. Did this person really come from the terrifying holy city? Thinking of this, he no longer dared to act presumptuously. Please forgive me, young master. I've already upgraded your grade. It was true that forging a sacred artifact required a lot of resources, but compared to 100 years of life, the great elder couldn't care less. 100 years was nothing to a young person, but to him, it was more precious than any sacred artifact. In addition, he had just obtained countless treasures, so he didn't have to worry about the lack of materials. He immediately used the 3,000 pieces of ancestral green gold and other materials to forge the sacred artifact. Before forging, Lin Xian asked how long it would take to forge a complete sacred artifact. The living fossil told him that it would take a very long time, at least 100 years. Lin Xian couldn't wait that long, and the living fossil was obviously unwilling to spend so much time forging a sacred artifact. Therefore, he thought of another way. That was, the Supreme Elders would arrange all of the materials and even carve the various great Daos of the heavens and earth. Then, it would absorb the power of heaven and earth and refine it. Although it would still take a long time to refine a sacred artifact, it would be more convenient for Lin Xian and the living fossil. The living fossil didn't need to be stared at for a long time, and Lin Xian could also put it away and wait slowly. Of course, the great elder only dared to do this because his attainments in forging had reached the peak. Otherwise, no other forging master would be able to do it. Lin Xian readily agreed to this proposal. In the next year, the great elder began to modify the black earth. Outside, the birthday banquet had long since ended. Not only that, but there were also earth-shattering changes. Previously, the Vermilion Bird Palace, 8 Desolation Hall, and Dragon Valley's young geniuses had been killed. After the news spread, the elders and experts of those sects quickly rushed over. Finally, they arrived after the banquet. Chapter 35:18. The first and third young masters felt their scalps go numb. They couldn't find the culprit, but the culprit was killed by them. Therefore, one could imagine the pressure they were facing. Even the 9 Nether tribe felt the pressure and had a headache. At this moment, Lei Qianzhong made his move. He showed his identity as the Saint King's disciple and attracted the attention of the elders of the Vermilion Bird Palace and Dragon Valley. The 9 Nether tribe was willing to compensate for the loss of the geniuses and give them a large number of weapons. This way, the elders of the Vermilion Bird Palace and 8 Wind Hall did not pursue the matter. Instead, they banded together and formed a new alliance with Lei Qianzhong as their leader. The reason for this alliance was simple. The Vermilion Bird Palace, Dragon Valley, and 8 Wind Hall came to the 9 Nether tribe to get a batch of weapons. They wanted to attack the Langia Star. However, they also wanted a special saint artifact to lock onto Lin Xian's location. This way, they could hunt him down. Lei Qianzhong's appearance made them go wild with joy. He was a genius from the second astral realm. With his leadership, they could gather a large number of experts. This way, it would be easier to deal with the Langia Star. Lei Qianzhong also had his own plans. He would not be used as a tool, but when he heard that there was a great emperor's inheritance on the Langia Star, he could not remain calm. He knew that the great emperor's inheritance was not in Yan Nanshan's hands, but in someone else's hands. This made him extremely jealous. He must obtain the great emperor's inheritance. Therefore, everyone joined forces. Deep in the hall, Lin Xian did not know about this. He did not know that he and the Langia Star were in a huge crisis. He was overjoyed because as time passed, the Black Tycoon had completed the initial transformation. Next, he only needed time to refine it and use the heavenly Tao to refine it into a saint artifact. This process took a year. Alright, the basic transformation is complete. Next, you can put it away and wait patiently. Under normal circumstances, with the heavenly Tao I engraved, it can completely transform into a saint artifact in 100 years. Of course, if you can shorten the time, it's not impossible. If you can find the terrifying golden fire energy of heaven and earth, then it will greatly shorten the evolution time. However, this kind of golden fire power of heaven and earth was not so easy to find. The Supreme Elder said in a deep voice. Lin Xian nodded. It seemed that it was only a matter of time before the Black Earth became a sacred artifact. Our transaction is complete. Young master, please leave, the Grand Elder said in a low voice. This old man also needs to go into seclusion for a while. At this point, his eyes were burning with passion. Okay. Lin Xian didn't tarry and quickly walked outside. When he came out, he frowned because he found that there were people guarding the exit. And from the looks of it, his expression was unusually cold. Lin Xian was a little more cautious. With a flash of his body, he quietly hid in the void, avoiding the guards of these people. When he arrived outside the heavenly palace, he discovered that the aura of planet alchemy was very unusual. He wanted to return to Fatty's original palace, but he realized that Fatty's palace was also guarded by many people, and Fatty had a gloomy look on his face. What's going on? What happened? Where's Dream? And from the looks of it, Fatty seemed to be imprisoned? Lin Xian set up a formation to cover Fatty, then sent a voice transmission. Brother Yun, what's going on with you? And where's Dream? Fatty jumped in fright. He thought that he had encountered a ghost, but soon he heard a voice transmission. Don't be agitated. Reply to me with a voice transmission. Fatty sent a voice transmission saying, Good brother. You're out. You're finally out. That's great. Fatty was about to cry. Damn. This year, he had been on tenterhooks. Dream was in another place, so it should be very safe. As for the matter, after you and the old ancestor went in, those people from Vermilion Bird Palace and Dragon Valley came. They forced our Netherworld tribe to compensate with a large number of weapons. Then, these people joined forces and formed a new alliance with that Lei Qianzhong. They seemed to want to attack the legendary Lin Wudi and Langyastar. What? Lin Xian was stunned when he heard this. Attack him and the Langyastar? Damn it, those people from Vermilion Bird Palace really didn't give up. But that Lei Qianzhong also joined in. It couldn't be helped. Those people from Vermilion Bird Palace had revealed the Great Emperor's inheritance, forcing Lei Qianzhong to join them. They had already waited for a year. In another month or two, they would leave this place and attack Langyastar first. Because I opposed eldest brother and third brother in the past, I've been imprisoned. Your friend Fantasy has also left. But they haven't caught us yet. They don't dare to act rashly because you and the old ancestor haven't come out yet. But with their personalities, I'm afraid they will punish us before they leave. Lin Xian's face darkened after hearing this. Cold killing intent surfaced in his eyes. Punish them? Damn it. These people had thoroughly infuriated him. First, these people wanted to attack him now. Second, these people had formed an alliance for him and Langyastar. They deserved to die 1,000 times over. Since that was the case, they couldn't blame him for being merciless. Fortunately, he came out early. If he came out a month or two later, these people would have already attacked. After calming down Fatty, Lin Xian asked about Dream's general location and left. Sure enough, he found Dream in that mountain range. Palace Master, you're out? Dream was overjoyed and said anxiously, Oh no, they're going to attack you and Langyastar. I already know. I won't let them succeed. Where are they now? Take me there. The two turned into streaks of light, hiding in the void and moving forward quietly. Lin Xian and Ming Ming also changed their appearances. No one knew that he was Lin Xian. No one knew that he was the former young Master Xian. When they arrived at their destination, Lin Xian was stunned. These people weren't too far away from the Heavenly Palace. They had set up camp tens of thousands of miles away. This was a place with abundant spiritual qi. At this moment, the alliance was quite spectacular. Not only were there Vermilion Bird Palace and the original major forces, many experts and clans from all over the universe who had come to offer their blessings had also joined in. Firstly, the Great Emperor's inheritance was too tempting. Secondly, Lei Qianzhong had sent a message. That was his purpose for coming here. The Sky Thunder City in the second astral realm was recruiting a new batch of genius disciples. Therefore, the other party's purpose in coming to the first astral realm was to recruit people. They wanted to recruit geniuses from the ancient road of the stars to go to the second astral realm. The news caused the geniuses to be extremely excited. The Great Emperor's inheritance was too elusive. If they could go to the second astral realm, join the legendary sacred city, and become the disciple of the Sage King. Then their future achievements would be limitless. However, at this moment, Black Mountain said, "Kid, don't panic. This place doesn't seem normal." Not searching? What did that mean? Lin Xian was surprised. Black Mountain carefully sensed the surroundings and realized that the golden fire plane wasn't as simple as it seemed. "I didn't notice it before, but this time, I discovered that there seems to be another world beneath the golden fire plane." There was another world. Lin Xian was even more surprised. Black Mountain sensed carefully. "That's right. I felt an extremely unusual aura beneath my feet. It's just that I haven't found the exact location yet. Why don't I go out to investigate while you intercept them and delay them for a while?" "All right." Lin Xian nodded and secretly let Black Mountain out. Then, he had Meng Meng continue to hide in the air, ready to provide support at any time. Meanwhile, he stealthily revealed himself and blended into the crowd. The people in the crowd were paranoid. Lin Xian's lips curled into a cold smile. He said, "Is this true or not? You have to give us an explanation." This time, Lin Xian didn't dodge at all, so his voice was immediately heard by those from Vermilion Bird Palace. Lei Qianzhong also abruptly turned his head and stared in their direction. Boom, boom, boom. Instantly, the area began to shatter. The surrounding people all paled and retreated. What a terrifying gaze. "Kid, were you the one who provoked us just now?" Many people stared at Lin Xian, as if wanting to tear him apart. They didn't recognize Lin Xian because Lin Xian had already changed his appearance and aura. What happened before? "I don't know. I only know that you have to give us an explanation. Are you really treating us as cannon fodder? Is Vermilion Bird Palace really in cahoots with the second astral realm?" Lin Xian's voice was sonorous. He looked at the people around him. "Do you really want to be cannon fodder and be used as a tool by others?" The surrounding people also had ugly expressions. Indeed, there were people who said, "We don't want to be cannon fodder. Give us an explanation." More and more voices rang out. Those from Vermilion Bird Palace had ugly expressions. "Damn it, they're rebelling. You want to die." An expert from Vermilion Bird Palace roared. Terrifying flames surged from his body and swept across the 9 heavens. No one dared to make a sound under the pressure. Lin Xian sneered. "You want to suppress us now that your scheme has been seen through? Are you really that daring to make an enemy out of our families and sects? Although we're not as good as Vermilion Bird Palace, we're not afraid of you." "Yes, that's right. Let's join forces too. We definitely can't be their cannon fodder." "Kid, you're courting death." That sage stared at Lin Xian. Although these people were doubtful before, no one dared to refute them. Now that there was a leader, the surrounding martial artists seemed to have a leader and dared to resist. Therefore, they felt that they had to get rid of this person first. The others naturally didn't dare to say anything. "Go to hell." An expert from Vermilion Bird Palace attacked. The flames on his body formed a Vermilion Bird Divine Blade. The blade slashed down. "Run." The martial artists in that area fled frantically. Lin Xian didn't run. "Humph, you want to silence me?" Flames also surged from his body, forming a large palm that slapped forward. Boom. An earth-shattering sound rang out. The Vermilion Bird Palace expert was forced back. Lin Xian laughed loudly. "Someone like you wants to lead us? We're not convinced. You want us to attack? Sure. Let us lead you in battle. We won't be controlled by others." Lin Xian didn't stop talking. He was trying to intensify the conflict. As expected, other than Vermilion Bird Palace and the other large sects, the others were all furious. They let out a tsunami of voices. They increasingly felt that this was a trap. "Oh no, there's something wrong with this kid. Hurry up and kill him." The experts from Vermilion Bird Palace and 8-Wind Hall roared crazily. The sage who was forced back roared at the sky. His eyes instantly turned red, and monstrous killing intent swept out. "Humph." Lin Xian snorted coldly. He formed a seal with his palm, forming an immortal phoenix that charged over with boundless flames. He directly sent that sage flying. He had changed his appearance and didn't look like a young man. Therefore, He didn't hold back. He forced the sage back. The people from Vermilion Bird Palace couldn't believe it. The people from 8 Wind Hall roared. Who exactly are you? Chapter 35:20. I'm just a wandering cultivator. I only came to the birthday banquet because I admire senior living fossil. It seems that you can't even defeat me. What right does the Vermilion Bird Palace have to lead us? Why don't you let me lead you instead? Lin Xian's voice rang out clearly. Damn it. This guy is too strong. Let the second Heaven Sage attack him. Boom. The second Heaven Sage of the 8 Wind Palace attacked, but he was forced back after a few moves. He's too strong. Could it be that even a second Heaven Sage can't suppress him? The crowd was in an uproar. They felt that the 8 Wind Palace and Vermilion Bird Palace weren't that strong. Any wandering cultivator could defeat them. Were they really going to be led by such a person? Dissatisfaction rose in their hearts. Lin Xian laughed. 8 Wind Palace and Vermilion Bird Palace? If they can't do it, then what about Lei Qianzhong? Why don't we teach you a lesson? If you lose to me, then you'll have to admit that I'm your boss. You're courting death. Countless people roared. Lei Qianzhong's face turned cold, but he didn't make a move because someone else did. This time, it was an elder of the Dragon Valley. How dare you be so arrogant in front of us? You're courting death. His aura was incomparably strong. A late third Heaven Sage. Not only that, but he also held a sacred weapon in his hand. It wouldn't be a problem for him to defeat a fourth Heaven Sage. As expected, the people of the Vermilion Bird Palace, 8 Wind Palace, and Dragon Valley all laughed coldly. Let's see how he's going to die. Not good. Fantasy's expression changed. This battle strength was too strong. She was worried that Lin Xian would be injured. Before she could make a move, another voice rang out from the crowd. A dignified third Firmament Sage elder wielding a sage artifact to bully an ordinary rogue cultivator was truly shameless. Why don't I fight you? Another figure walked out. This figure had a terrifying aura. The Tao of heaven and earth rumbled around him. Who was this person? The crowd was in an uproar. Even Lin Xian was shocked. However, at this moment, a voice rang out beside his ear. Hallmaster Lin. It's me, Mubai. Elder Mubai. Lin Xian was extremely shocked. Elder Mubai was actually here. But then again, even the Vermilion Bird Palace and Dragon Valley's experts were here, so it was normal for the Wolf Fong Star to send 1 or 2 people to investigate. With Elder Mubai's help, Lin Xian was relieved. He retreated slightly. Elder Mubai started fighting with the other party, and a huge battle broke out. Everyone was originally disdainful. A level 3 sage with a sacred artifact could definitely destroy everything. However, they quickly discovered that the situation was not like that, because the two sides were evenly matched, and it was difficult to determine the victor. How could this be? The people of the Dragon Valley were going crazy. How could a third heaven saint with a holy weapon not be able to defeat him? Who was this person? Lin Xian laughed heartily at the side. So this is your elder? Your strength is really nothing much. People like you want to lead us? What a joke. The surrounding people were getting more and more shaken, and they also wanted to resist. Kill him. The experts of the 8 Desolate Hall also rushed over. Fantasy also came out and clashed with the experts of the 8 Emperor's Palace. Terrifying energy swept out in all directions, soaring into the sky. Another person tried to attack Lin Xian, but he was sent flying by Lin Xian. Lin Xian stomped his foot and rushed towards Lei Qianzhong. Let me see how you lead these heroes. As he spoke, he grabbed at Lei Qianzhong with his huge hand covered in flames. You're courting death. Lei Qianzhong's companions roared. The two of them attacked, and a terrifying Tao of heaven and earth swept towards Lin Xian. Peng Peng. The terrifying power of the flaming palm shattered the two Tao of heaven and earth. The two who attacked also had their palms smashed and were sent flying. The people at the side felt their hair stand on end. Isn't this person too strong? Injuring them with just a wave of his hand. Who is this person? Who are you? Lei Qianzhong's eyes emitted a cold light, as if he wanted to pierce through the other party. The person who will kill you. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with killing intent. The flames on his body turned into a fire qilin and roared as it charged forward. Get lost. Lei Qianzhong roared crazily. Lightning surged from his body, turning into thousands of lightning bolts that attacked. Boom, boom, boom. The power of lightning and fire collided. The two Tao of heaven and earth clashed. Buzz. Lin Xian's palm turned into 100,000 feet tall mountain and slammed onto Lei Qianzhong's body, sending Lin Xian flying. Lei Qianzhong was sent tumbling. His body was charred black, and the people around him went crazy. Lei Qianzhong was sent flying. This was too unbelievable. Damn brat, go to hell. Lei Qianzhong roared. Countless lightning runes appeared on his body, especially on his forehead. A terrifying Tao of heaven and earth appeared. That was a seal. At this moment, the seal was quickly dissolved. Lei Qianzhong's aura suddenly erupted like 100,000 lightning bolts, causing the void to explode. Countless people were sent flying. In the next moment, they saw a figure floating in the sea of lightning. It was Lei Qianzhong. Although his appearance didn't change much, his aura had undergone an earth-shattering change. At this moment, Lei Qianzhong was like a god of thunder, roaring towards the sky. Third heavenly layer venerable. Many people felt their scalps go numb, and their faces were filled with fear. They had heard that Lei Qianzhong had sealed his cultivation. They thought it was just a legend, but now it seemed that it was true. Now that Lei Qianzhong had broken the seal, his cultivation had reached the third heavenly layer. There was definitely an earth-shattering change compared to before. Go to hell. A thunderous fist that contained boundless law of thunder blasted out. Everywhere it passed, everything collapsed. Nothing could withstand the berserk power. Buzz. Many people were hit by the shockwave, and their bodies exploded into a bloody mist. Lin Xian used the Kuan Pong movement technique to dodge. He was also surprised when he was hit by the energy shockwave on his back. Such a violent aura, as expected of the Saint King's disciple. His strength was truly terrifying. All right, I'll play with him. Lin Xian's eyes emitted a golden light, and the sword intent in his body spread out. A terrifying aura was about to erupt. However, at this moment, He Shan transmitted a message to him. Kid, don't attack. I found them. You go first and lead them to a place. Hearing this, Lin Xian's heart shook. He withdrew the violent sword intent and turned to leave. At the same time, he transmitted a message to Mu Bai and Ming Ming, telling them to quickly retreat as well. Although Mu Bai and Ming Ming didn't understand what was going on, they immediately retreated after receiving the message. Where do you think you're going? Lei Qianzhong roared. Now that he had broken the seal, how could he allow them to escape? Endless lightning formed, and 8 lightning dragons crawled under his feet, carrying him as he flew. On the other side, the 8 Wind Palace's experts also roared and charged over. The Vermilion Bird Palace's elders roared, "Stop them. Don't let them escape. I suspect they're from the Langya Star." Chapter 35:21. Countless experts chased after them, and the people around them also followed. Dark clouds gathered in the sky, causing the entire world to tremble. Lin Xian was flying ahead. He asked, "Hey Shan, what's going on?" "Kid, there's another space under the golden fire plains, but it's covered by a peerless formation. Ordinary people can't find it. If it weren't for my incredible abilities, I wouldn't have noticed it either. There's a peerless formation here." Lin Xian was shocked. To be honest, he didn't notice it at all. His formation skills were much stronger than ordinary saints, but he didn't notice it. Moreover, this was the territory of the 9th Netherworld clan. How could the members of the 9th Netherworld clan not have noticed? However, when he remembered that He Shan used to be a great saint, he understood. Only a great saint could detect it. "Can you break it?" he asked. "If I was at my peak, I could break it with a single slap. Unfortunately, my cultivation is only at the first layer. I can't break it. Of course, I'll be able to break it if you give me 8 to 10 years. Are you kidding me?" Right now, they were being hunted down by countless saints. "Is there no other way?" "Of course there is. Who do you think I am?" He Shan smiled. I asked you to lure those people here so that I can borrow their strength to break the formation. With so many saints attacking together, they can definitely break the formation. I understand. Lin Xian nodded, then sent the news to Mu Bai and Meng Meng. The two of them were shocked when they heard that there was a peerless formation here. They didn't notice it at all. However, they believed in Lin Xian's words. He definitely wouldn't be wrong. After flying for a while, they finally arrived at the place He Shan mentioned. The surroundings were desolate and quiet. There weren't many people, not even demon beasts. It was hard to imagine that there was a peerless formation here. You can't escape. Behind them, Lei Qianzhong took the lead. He was very fast, so he caught up to Lin Xian in the blink of an eye. A lightning blade appeared in his hand, and he slashed down. Kaboom! The terrifying power of lightning shook the 9 heavens. Lin Xian leaned to the side and dodged the saber. The nomological powers on the saber struck his body with a resounding sound, causing his lifeblood to churn. Countless flames jumped out from his body and formed a shield, blocking the terrifying lightning. At the same time, he flashed and flew to the left. At the same time, the army of experts behind them charged over and surrounded them. You won't be able to escape. Since you dared to break our alliance, you will definitely die today. Cold voices rang out one after another. A powerful force sealed the entire world. Kill. With Lei Qianzhong as the leader and so many saints attacking at the same time, the power of this attack was simply too terrifying. The area in front of him was directly destroyed. Let's go too. Lin Xian bellowed, and Mu Bai and Fantasy instantly came to his side. Mu Bai took out a scroll. The scroll flickered with unparalleled power of the stars. It directly enveloped the 3 of them and tore open the void. Not good, they are too strong, especially that Lei Qianzhong. He is the Saint King's disciple. His current attack can affect us. Mu Bai's face paled. Originally, they could hide in the void and avoid the attack. But this time, they found that they couldn't completely avoid it. The violent lightning was closely following them. At this moment, Lin Xian's body suddenly emitted a terrifying power of space, enveloping the 3 of them. Their bodies disappeared from the space in an instant. As soon as they disappeared, the lightning pierced through the void, but it didn't hit them at all. Buzz. They appeared from another space. They dodged it. Fantasy heaved a sigh of relief, but Sage Mu Bai's eyes widened. This was a space ability. Hall Master Lin, you actually know a space ability? He was simply too shocked. Space ability was an extremely powerful and strange ability. Very few people could comprehend it. After all, space was king. Lin Xian smiled mysteriously, but didn't explain anything. The space ability was taught to him by Gu Santong. Because he helped Gu Santong and the Gu family, Gu Santong taught him a type of space ability. It was called the spatial escape technique. At this moment, he was using the spatial escape technique. Did he kill it? On Lei Qianzhong's side, countless people looked around. Humph, they're definitely going to die. Lei Qianzhong sneered. He had already unlocked the seal. In addition to the killing blow just now, how could they have dodged it? What was that? Suddenly, someone exclaimed. The space in front of them had already shattered due to their previous attack. The ground sank, and a bottomless black hole appeared. Within the black hole, countless lights flickered. Soon, a formation appeared in front of everyone. This formation was simple and unadorned. It was engraved with the Tao of heaven and earth, filling the entire space. It was a formation, and an ancient one at that. How exquisite! Screams rang out. How could there be a formation here? Not good. Could it be a trap set by the 3 of them? Once those words were spoken, the surrounding people's faces changed. They hurriedly put up their defenses. Many saint realms rushed into the sky. At the same time, the Tao of heaven and earth filled the space. These people were on high alert. After waiting for a long time, they didn't see any attacks. What was going on? They were even more confused. No, the Vermilion Bird Palace Master shook his head. It wasn't set up by the 3 of them. There was already a beautiful formation here. There was already one. How could this be? The Gold Refinement Sect's people went crazy. 9 Others group was also stunned. This was their territory. How could they not know there was a formation here? Looking at how exquisite the formation was, it definitely wasn't set up by an ordinary person. Could it be that there was something hidden here? Lei Qianzhong's eyes lit up. With a wave of his hand, countless lightning bolts flew out, striking the formation. The formation shook violently, but it soon calmed down. A third Heaven Sage's attack. It couldn't harm the formation at all. Seeing this scene, Lei Qianzhong was enraged. Instead of being angry, he revealed a smug smile. Great, my guess was right. There must be a treasure trove below. A treasure trove? Could there be something good sealed here? The surrounding people's eyes lit up. This was truly an unexpected surprise. Don't move, we're from the same alliance. Of course we have to listen to the alliance leader. The Vermilion Bird Palace Master stepped forward, looking at Lei Qianzhong. Alliance Master, it's up to you to lead us in breaking the formation. Good. Lei Qianzhong was very satisfied with the Vermilion Bird Palace Master's attitude. He looked around. I also know some formation breaking techniques. All of you listen to my instructions and break the formation according to my orders. Chapter 35-22. They began to break the array. Watching this scene from the void, Meng Meng frowned. Why did the Vermilion Bird Palace lower themselves so much? Elder Mubai coldly snorted. With Yin Nantian dead, the Vermilion Bird Palace had lost their greatest hope. Naturally, they would need to find a replacement. Lei Qianzhong's talent and strength were both top-notch. Moreover, he was the Sage King's disciple. If they had a good relationship with him, then the Vermilion Bird Palace would have another layer of protection. Indeed, it wasn't just the Vermilion Bird Palace, the Dragon Valley, 8 Desolate Hall. Everyone wanted to curry favor with Lei Qianzhong. When those people attacked together, it was a terrifying force. The entire world shook violently. In the end, under Lei Qianzhong's guidance and the violent bombardment, a crack finally appeared on the peerless array. Below, there was a layer of hazy light that looked like a dream. When the sages saw it, they cried out in surprise. It formed a space of its own. Lei Qianzhong's lips curled into a smile. As expected, there was another world below. His figure flickered, and he impatiently descended. His companions quickly followed behind him. Next was the Vermilion Bird Palace, the Dragonbone Palace's experts, and the 9 Netherclan's experts. The others also followed behind, afraid that they would be left behind. Let's move too. On the other side, Lin Xian, Meng Meng, and Elder Mubai quietly followed behind and also entered the space below. After entering, the scene inside was shocking. The space below was bigger than they imagined. There were many mountains with monstrous flames on top of them, accompanied by a terrifying chaotic aura. Within those mountains, there was a phenomenon of heaven and earth. Various lightning bolts danced wildly like demonic beasts. Those flames continued to transform into stars that bloomed between heaven and earth. The terrifying aura made the people who entered feel their hair stand on end. What a powerful flame energy! Lin Xian's eyes widened when he entered, wild with joy. Wasn't this flame what he needed? One had to know that the black earth in his hands had already completed the initial construction. In order to fully evolve into a saint artifact, it would take around 100 years under normal circumstances. However, the 9 Netherclan's living fossil had said that under special circumstances, this time would be greatly shortened. For example, finding a terrifying flame in heaven and earth. With the power of the flames, he could evolve quickly. Lin Xian made a mental note of this. When he had the time, he would search for it or wait until he returned to the Langya Star. He began to search using the information resources of the Langya Star. However, he hadn't expected that there would be another world beneath the Golden Fire Plains. Furthermore, there was actually such a strange and terrifying flame in this world. This was the flame he needed. If he could obtain it, then the Black Earth wouldn't need 100 years to evolve. It would form in a very short time. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a fiery light. Not only him, but the people around him also became ecstatic after the initial panic. The power of fire here was too terrifying. If they could obtain it, it would be a supreme treasure for them. The people of the 9 Netherbird clan laughed wildly. They were blacksmiths, and this kind of flame was a great temptation to them. Needless to say, those from the Vermilion Bird Palace were all fire elemental saints. The powerful beings from the Dragon Valley also had flickering eyes. Lei Qianzhong's eyes shone even brighter. Although he cultivated the Tao of Lightning, it didn't stop him from comprehending another Tao. Moreover, this kind of Tao of Fire was definitely not weaker than his Tao of Lightning. Everyone had their eyes on the flame. That thing is mine now. Lei Qianzhong took the lead and walked forward. Everyone else was stunned. How could they give such a precious flame to someone else? Yours? You're not worthy. At this moment, a disdainful voice sounded. Who was it? Everyone's scalps went numb. Although they were dissatisfied, no one dared to openly oppose Lei Qianzhong. Lei Qianzhong was also stunned. Lightning surged from his body in all directions. Who dares to stop me? It's me. A figure descended from the sky. He blocked Lei Qianzhong's path. It's you. Lei Qianzhong frowned. Many people exclaimed when they realized that the person in front of them was Black Cloak. He was also the person who had provoked Lei Qianzhong before. Lei Qianzhong didn't fight him back then. Everyone guessed that Black Cloak was also a genius from the second astral realm. Yuanimo, you dare to stop me? Lei Qianzhong was also enraged. He sneered. I've already broken the seal. You're courting death if you try to stop me. So what if you've broken the seal? We're in the same realm. I'm not afraid of you. Yuanimo sneered. Also, if you want to live, I advise you to get the hell out of here. You don't have the right to take anything here. He was incomparably domineering. A terrifying saber light rushed out from his body. Countless large cracks appeared in the space, causing everyone's heart to go cold. Boom. Lei Qianzhong didn't hesitate to attack. His fist was like rolling heavenly lightning as it blasted forward. On the other side, Yuanimo also attacked. He pulled out a dark green short saber and slashed forward. It was like a rainbow in autumn, cutting off the heavens and earth. Boom. The battle between two-third heavenly layer geniuses was extremely powerful. The power blasted open. Countless great path laws permeated the space, forming a state of chaos. No one dared to approach. Everyone frantically retreated. A top genius. The experts of the older generation sucked in a breath of cold air after seeing this. The strength of these two clearly surpassed the experts of the stellar realm. As expected of the second astral realm's geniuses. What a good opportunity. A joyful voice sounded. Immediately after, a sword light streaked across the sky, bypassing the chaotic great Tao of the heavens and earth. It flew out from another direction and flew forward rapidly. Who was it? It was the little sword saint. He was also a top genius. Someone recognized him. He was a genius from their first astral realm. He had comprehended the Tao of sword and was very strong. He was called the little sword saint. Damn it, we can't let them get there first. Let's go too. The surrounding people's expressions all changed. They attacked one after another. Each of them turned into a stream of light and flew forward. For a moment, the scene was very chaotic. But soon, those people screamed and flew out. Some of them were ablaze. They looked extremely ferocious and were trying their best to put out the fire. Some were miserable. Half of their bodies were burned. They rolled in the air. Most of the people retreated, their faces full of fear. Their bodies were injured. In short, they were in an incomparably sorry state. The flames were too terrifying. We couldn't get close at all. A first heavenly layer sage's expression was extremely ugly. Sages were considered to be existences that transcended the heavens and earth. They were the supreme overlords of a region. But now, they couldn't stop the flames. They were even ignited as soon as they got close. Chapter 35-23. How could this be? Why were their faces so ugly? The little sword saint also felt the monstrous fire. The sword chi on his body was unparalleled, forming a sword domain to defend himself. However, he couldn't get close to it and could only move forward slowly. Seeing this scene, everyone gasped. Even the little sword saint was in such a state. It seemed that the fire in front was too terrifying. Boom, boom, boom. A dragon's roar resounded between heaven and earth. The The third heaven saint of the Dragon Valley rushed forward with a saint weapon in his hand. He looked at the flickering fire in front of him and was shocked. It was the cosmic starry sky fire. What? Cosmic starry sky fire? Was it the legendary divine fire? Many people were stunned. This kind of fire was extremely attractive to saints. Even a small saint couldn't stay calm. Sure enough, the eyes of the people around immediately turned red after hearing the news. They gritted their teeth. Damn it, we must find a way to get to the front. We must get this fire. The 9th Nether Clan's eldest young master and 3rd young master were also ecstatic. They then took out many weapons and filled the sky. The others also made their preparations. This thing is mine. None of you have the right to get it. At this moment, Lei Qianzhong roared. The lightning on his body surged in all directions, forming 8 lightning dragons. Many people who were close to him were pierced. Heavens, it's too terrifying. However, Yuan Imo didn't care about such terrifying lightning. He kept waving the broken black saber in his hand as if it could destroy everything. The 8 lightning dragons were trembling from the beating. The two fought while moving forward. Obviously, the two of them wouldn't give up. On the other side, the little sword saint also roared and pushed his way of the sword to the extreme. The other saints of the older generation all made their moves. Although Lei Qianzhong wanted this thing, and they were all subordinates of Lei Qianzhong, they were all enraged now. If they could get this thing, the benefits would definitely be huge. So even with the threat of Lei Qianzhong, they couldn't care less. The stronger ones were preparing to resist the terrifying cosmic starry sky fire. But at this moment, they noticed a figure rushing towards them from behind. That speed was so fast that it shocked them. Heavens, who is this? Is it another expert of the older generation? No, it was that person. Someone screamed. It was the person who had provoked them before. They saw Lin Xian's figure. The people from the Vermilion Bird Palace and the 8 Wind Palace sneered. They didn't know what was good for them. If the other party charged forward like this, he would definitely be burned to ashes by the raging flames. The flames ahead were too terrifying. Lin Xian rushed over and frowned as he felt the terrifying heat wave around him. He released a cold snort. His body erupted with endless radiance, supporting a world as he quickly advanced. He actually blocked it. He actually didn't die. This was simply too inconceivable. The people at the back were all stunned. How did the other party survive such terrifying flames? What kind of treasure did he have? Could it be that the physique of that person was so strong that it could withstand the universal starry sky flame? Impossible. Even a saint of the 3rd heaven would find it difficult to resist unless he had an extremely terrifying physique. However, we can recognize that kind of physique at a glance. He definitely isn't that kind of person. The experts from the Vermilion Bird Palace and the 8 Wind Palace shook their heads frantically. They had all lost their minds. The other party didn't have a peerless physique. Then how did he get to the front? The 1st and 3rd young masters' faces were pale. They threw out countless weapons, but they were still burned to the point of screaming. However, at this moment, a figure flew past them at a high speed, causing their hairs to stand on end. Who was that? How could he be so strong? The little sword saint was stunned. Even Lei Qianzhong and Yuan Imo were startled. They all looked over. There's actually another expert. Yuan Imo was shocked. Lei Qianzhong's eyes were filled with killing intent. Damn it, I already said that it's all mine. Go die. With a wave of his hand, 10,000 lightning bolts struck forward. Wong, Lin Xian sneered. He waved his hand, and the lightning bolts were sent towards the flames with the stellar transposition. Immediately, a crack was torn open, causing his speed to become even faster. How is this possible? Lei Qianzhong couldn't believe it when he saw the other party's speed increase. The others were also stunned. Who is this person? Isn't he too strong? No, they had to use their full strength. They couldn't let that person get the upper hand. They clenched their teeth and began to use their trump cards. Lin Xian took the lead. The flames here were too terrifying. Even his 9 yang divine physique was trembling from the heat. However, he didn't use sword chi to extinguish the flames. Instead, he used the stellar transposition to redirect the flames. This greatly reduced the pressure on him. Otherwise, A third heavenly layer sage would have a hard time advancing. Even with a saint artifact, it wouldn't be easy. Lei Qianzhong and Yuan Imo also charged into the flame mountain. Their battle shook the heavens and the earth. Countless flames trembled and large cracks appeared. Some people took the opportunity to enter through the cracks. Great, we're close to the cosmic starry fire. Put away the flames. Several people stretched out their big palms, covering the sky and covering the earth as they tried to grab those starry sky flames. Not good. How dare you? Let go. The eyes of some people behind turned red as they roared crazily. The people of Vermilion Bird Palace were also anxious. Elder, quickly think of a way. We can't fall behind. The young disciples were extremely anxious. However, the elder of Vermilion Bird Palace sneered. Don't worry, you're all fire elemental sages. Can't you sense the power of the cosmic starry fire? Those people think they can use the cracks to get close to it and subdue it? How naive. Just wait and see. They'll definitely die. Whoosh. The illusions of stardust in the flame mountain spun, and a terrifying heat wave swept across the world. Several sages who reached out with their hands instantly wailed as their palms were pierced. Not only that, the flames followed their arms and wrapped around their bodies. Their entire bodies were ignited. These people quickly retreated. Countless energy surged from their bodies as they tried to extinguish the flames. But in the blink of an eye, they were burned to ashes. Dead. Those who wanted to enter the cracks stopped in their tracks. Their faces were filled with fear. Those terrifying sages were burned to death in an instant. The power of the flames was beyond their imagination. Damn it, without some extraordinary means, they wouldn't be able to get close at all. Since they couldn't seize the origin fire seed, they might as well absorb some of the flames. Some people immediately took out their weapons and started absorbing the flames. Chapter 35-24. The great prince took out a red gourd and started absorbing the flames. The third prince took out a jade bottle. These were two half-step sage tools. However, as soon as the flames were absorbed, the two half-step sage tools exploded. The third prince and the great prince were startled and quickly retreated. The armor on their bodies cracked from the heat, scaring them so much that they didn't dare to do anything else. They fled as if they had gone mad. The others were shocked. Those were the two young masters of the 9 Netherworld clan. The weapons in their hands were extremely powerful. Even so, they couldn't absorb any of the flames. Other than a true sage tool, nothing else could absorb the flames. It was indeed powerful. Lin Xian's eyes lit up when he saw this. He increased his speed and rushed forward. He was courting death. Lei Qianzhong also saw him. This time, he didn't stop him. So what if he rushed to the front? He didn't believe that he could subdue the flames. Lin Xian gradually moved forward and came close to the mountains of flames. He looked at the flames of the stars, and his eyes flashed with a shocking light. He flipped his hand and took out a black spiritual boat. The boat was extremely exquisite, and it floated above his hand. It was really a black earth. Next, it's up to you. He waved his hand, and the black earth shot forward. Immediately, the black earth floated up and down. The flames in the sky descended and enveloped the black earth. Lin Xian's heart was pounding. The black earth's Tao runes shone brightly as it was being refined. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that the black earth wasn't destroyed immediately. It seemed that the refinement had begun. With the help of the Cosmos Starfire, the time needed to evolve would be greatly reduced. He used stellar transposition while waiting patiently. He didn't dare to be too far away. If the weapons were stolen, it would be a great loss. Therefore, he could only stay nearby and guard. After such a long time, that kid should have turned to ashes. The people from Vermilion Bird Palace sneered. The people from Dragon Valley were also gnashing their teeth. However, the people from Ba Huang Hall started screaming. No, he was still there. One of the elders held the Ba Huang mirror. When he opened it, it illuminated the area ahead. Amidst the flames, a figure stood there. It was that guy. He actually didn't die. These people were all crazy. How did the other party do it? Because no one could walk into those flames, that brat wouldn't absorb more fire seeds, right? As soon as these words were spoken, those experts sucked in a breath of cold air, instantly losing their calm. With a roar, 10,000 lightning bolts struck out. After repelling the opponent's broken blade, he quickly charged over. Die, brat. In the sky, the claw of a thunder beast appeared. It was abnormally malevolent and horrifying, as if it had reached out from the primordial era. In an instant, it shattered the void. The flames in front of him continued to surge. In an instant, he arrived in front of Lin Xian. Lin Xian's face darkened when he sensed the terrifying lightning claws of his opponent. Unparalleled light burst out from his eyes, and the aura on his body continued to rise. At this moment, the entire world was shaking. Get lost. With a furious roar, the heavens fell and the earth cracked. Lin Xian made his move. The golden palm was like a mountain range. It rushed out and clashed with the lightning claw. Boom! The area in front of him was completely destroyed, forming a huge black hole. The force of the collision also sent the flames flying. Those who came close were all set ablaze by the flames, and miserable screams could be heard. Retreat. Those who were weak did not dare to come closer. Their faces were filled with fear. The two of them were actually fighting in the depths of the sea of flames. After a single exchange, the two palms were both pushed back. Lin Xian sneered. Lei Qianzhong's face was extremely ugly. The other party could actually contend with him. It was too unbelievable. One had to know that he was no longer suppressed by the seal. He could use all of his strength. How terrifying was a third sky supremacy. Compared to before, his strength had increased countless times. Killing the other party was as easy as flipping his hand. But now, this move made his heart tremble. The other party's strength was also stronger than before. Could it be that the other party had not shown his strength? How could it be? Was the other party also a third sky supremacy? After carefully sensing, he almost fainted. First sky, the other party was only a first sky supremacy. Then how did the other party block his attack? This was impossible. Lei Qianzhong threw another thunderous fist at Qin Lai. This fist was really too terrifying. Lin Xian also roared and fiercely collided with the other party. The heavens fell, and the earth cracked. The two fists were like two meteorites, constantly colliding with each other. He blocked it. He actually blocked it. Lei Qianzhong was about to go crazy. What was the other party's physique? Wasn't it too terrifying? He had never heard of a physique that was comparable to that of a saint of the third heaven. Could it be one of those legendary physiques? Who the hell are you? Terrifying lightning flashed in his eyes, and a lightning god's eye appeared on top of his head, as if it wanted to see everything clearly. What heavens chosen of the second astral realm? That's all there is to it. Lin Xian grinned. You're courting death. Lei Qianzhong roared. Lightning surrounded his body, and every part of the starry sky trembled. At this moment, the destructive power was too terrifying. A berserk aura surged from his palm. It directly pushed back Lin Xian's fist. Thunderclap, ninth heaven. Chapter 35-25. The eldest and third young masters of the 9 Netherbird clan trembled as if they had seen a ghost. The saints of the Vermilion Bird Palace and 8 Desolation Hall were also terrified. No one wasn't afraid of Lei Qianzhong. He was a godlike young man in their eyes, but now he was sent flying. To be able to send Lei Qianzhong flying, interesting. Why don't you have a taste of my blade? Another voice rang out between heaven and earth. Everyone saw the black-cloaked man rushing over with the short blade in his hand. An ink-colored blade descended from the sky like a water chelan, roaring in all directions. The power of this blade was too terrifying. It wasn't any weaker than Lei Qianzhong's lightning. Was this another third heaven sage? Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. He could naturally feel the power of this blade. His opponent's blade contained the terrifying law of water, and it wasn't an ordinary law of water. He didn't dare to be careless and attacked with all his might. The 9 young divine body and great dragon sword spirit erupted together, releasing a shocking sword chi. The sword chi rushed out and turned into a phoenix. It fluttered its wings and covered the 9 heavens and 10 earths. The water Qilin and the fire phoenix clashed in the sky, destroying the 9 heavens. Countless cracks appeared in the sky. In the end, the 2 divine abilities dissipated. Lin Xian withdrew his hand with a solemn expression. On the other side, Yuan Mo laughed. You're really strong. I wonder if you're over 1,000 years old. If you're not, then I'll be surprised. I didn't expect the first astral realm to have someone as strong as you. Over 1,000 years old? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He didn't answer, but the answer was no. He was only a little over 100 years old. If Yuan Mo knew about this, what would he think? Luai's divine claw. At this moment, Lei Qianzhong attacked again. His claw was surrounded by the law of lightning, and with a swing of his claw, it could destroy the sky. Lin Xian turned into a Kuan Pong and dodged quickly. At the same time, he punched out again. However, he didn't attack Lei Qianzhong, but in another direction. There, a figure was pushed back. His face was pale and filled with shock. The little sword saint. Many people cried out in surprise. They didn't expect that the little sword saint would also charge over. Humph! Ants. Lei Qianzhong glanced at the little sword saint and ignored him because he was also a first heaven saint. Yuan Mo was shocked. You must have a terrifying weapon in your hand to be able to kill me at the first level of heaven. That's right. The little sword saint also had a shield in his hand. It was filled with cracks, and he had relied on that shield to reach this place. I don't care about your grudges, but none of you are allowed to enter this area. As Lin Xian spoke, he waved his hand and several sword chi flew out, enveloping the sea of fire. This was his territory, and he was refining the black earth inside. He would not allow anyone to enter. The little sword saint's face turned ugly while Lei Qianzhong was enraged. Damn it! You dare to control me? Yuan Mo retracted his smile. Although I admire you, no one can stop me. Is that so? Just because it didn't exist in the past didn't mean it wouldn't exist in the future. I said that no one is allowed to enter this place. Lin Xian's face also darkened, but his eyes were filled with unparalleled determination. The surrounding people went crazy. They couldn't imagine who the man in front of them was. They were facing 2/3 heavenly layer sages. Moreover, they were geniuses from the 2nd heavenly layer. Any one of them could make Vermilion Bird Palace and 8 Desolate Palace bow their heads. But now, there was someone who could fight against 2 such peerless geniuses at the same time. It was unbelievable. Die for me. Lei Qianzhong roared and quickly attacked. On the other side, Yuan Mo said coldly, Let's see what kind of strength you have to block my path. He also made his move. The 2/3 heaven saints attacked. Lin Xian instantly felt a great pressure. However, he wouldn't take a single step back. He used his body and sword soul to resist the opponent, and at the same time, he used stellar transposition to disrupt the power of this space. The power of the starry sky flame was mobilized by him. Not only that, he was also using the power of these 2 people. The battle erupted, and it was extremely chaotic. The little sword saint used all his strength to activate the black gold shield in his hand. He couldn't attack at all, and could only protect himself. The people in the distance couldn't do the same. Between heaven and earth, terrifying scenes filled the sky. Thunderlock appeared, carrying with it a terrifying Thunder Dao aura that covered the sky. On the other side, an ink-colored Qilin appeared, and it roared in all directions. These were 2 peerless geniuses, and the divine abilities they created were truly terrifying. Lin Xian shuttled back and forth between the 2 mystic skills. While it looked simple, it was actually way too dangerous. Every attack caused his blood to boil. Even if the energy gently brushed past him, it would still cause many cracks to appear on his body. He reached out with both hands, and there was a mysterious energy circulating around them. This was stellar transposition, and it was thrown out by him. The 2 behemoths were originally charging towards him together, but at this moment, they were fighting each other. The violent energy caused Lei Qianzhong and Yuan Mo to tremble. Damn it! You dare to attack me? Humph! Don't attack me anymore. Lei Qianzhong and Yuan Mo's eyes shone with a piercing cold light. The 3 of them kept attacking, and it became a chaotic battle. Everyone was an enemy. Yuan Imo blocked Lei Qianzhong's attack, and at the same time, he swung his saber at Lin Xian. Lin Xian turned into an ocean, and a huge whirlpool wrapped around his opponent's water qilin. At the same time, he smashed out with one hand, and it turned into a golden heavenly steel. It carried a terrifying aura as it pressed down on Lei Qianzhong. The three of them attacked together, and it was extremely terrifying. They seemed to be evenly matched, and no one could do anything to the other. In the end, cracks appeared on their bodies, and some of them were even shocking. Lei Qianzhong roared, "Yuan Mo, let's put aside our grudges and work together to kill this kid. When we enter the depths of the Fire Sea and fight for the Fire Seed, we'll see who's better." "All right." Yuan Mo nodded, and the others sucked in a breath of cold air. What was the meaning of this? The two-third heavenly layer geniuses were going to work together? That person was definitely dead. No one could stop the joint attack of two peerless geniuses. At this moment, the people from Vermilion Bird Palace and Octagon Palace all revealed sinister smiles. The little sword saint's face turned pale. Although he had the black gold shield, he decisively retreated at this moment. Lei Qianzhong and Yuan Mo didn't attack each other again, and they both stared at Lin Xian. This time, Yuan Mo held his saber with one hand and formed a terrifying seal with the other. Countless laws rushed out from his body, and the broken saber in his hand flickered. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.